Our next broadcast premiered in 1935. The program struggled in the ratings until 1940 when it became a national sensation. Within 3 years, it was the top-rated program in America. Few radio shows were more beloved, and few play as well half a century later. It was the brainchild of real-life married couple Jim and Marion Jordan and was broadcast to the nation from WMAQ Chicago. The show entertained America until March of 1956 and continued on NBC's Monitor until 1959. We invite you to join us at 79 Wistful Vista with Fibber McGee and Molly right here on HOJO Radio.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. The show opens with Let's Break the Ice. The other day I was talking to a friend of mine, a woman who has a very nice home and does her own work. Somehow or other, the conversation, as you might expect, happened to swing around to Glow Coat. You know, Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. I'll tell you what I like best about Glow Coat, my friend said. Of course, I know that it saves me hours of work because it's self-polishing. But what pleases me most is that it keeps my kitchen so cheerful. And I hate to have to get dinner in a gloomy kitchen. Well, there you are. One very good reason for using Glow Coat on your kitchen floor. It makes it more cheerful. Keeps the colors of the linoleum fresh and bright. Keeps the floor sparkling with a beautiful, long-lasting polish. Protects the linoleum itself from wear. Makes it last longer. And all this in addition to the fact that Glow Coat, because it needs no rubbing or buffing, saves you the work of floor scrubbing. So, I ask you, do you have Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat on your linoleum floors? When a man enters this world, his clothes don't mean much to him as long as they're comfortable and there are no pins sticking into him. When he grows up, though, style becomes pretty important. And finally, he gets over that and completes the cycle by throwing style out the window and demanding comfort again. Which, roughly, is the subject for discussion at 79 Wistful Vista between Fibber McGee and Molly.
And furthermore, Molly, what's the matter with this suit? Except maybe it needs a little pressing.
A little pressing?
Yeah.
Look at the knees of those pants.
Well?
They look like you'd been smuggling cantaloupes in them.
Well, I never claimed to be no dude. I dress for comfort. I can't wear spats and a cutaway coat and when will we two meet again collar when I got to run down and fix the furnace every couple of hours.
Well, that's not the point. Look at Mr. Gildersleeve. Look at Mr. Wilcox. Look at Uncle Dennis.
Oh.
They always manage to look well-dressed.
Ah, they're a bunch of featherheads. All they think of is clothes. They can have the pleats. Give me the wrinkles. Come in.
Hi, mister.
Oh, hello there, little girl. What's on your mind? It says, what you want? What was the underlying purpose of this unexpected intrusion into our domestic tranquility?
You want to know what I came in for?
Now you're cooking with gas, sis. Yes, what you want?
Well, I just gone into business, mister.
Oh, you have, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm always glad to see a tyke turn into a tycoon. What's your biz, sis?
Well, I've muscled into the Valentine racket, mister, and gee, I got a swell line of stuff, too, I bet you.
Well, never let it be said that Fibber McGee was deaf to the plaintive cry of sentiment, though you might be wasting your time, sis. Mrs. McGee is the only one I'd send a Valentine to.
Oh, no, she is.
Oh, yes, she is.
Oh, no, she is.
Oh, yes, she is.
Oh, no, she is.
Oh, well, who else would I be sending a Valentine to?
Mr. Gildersleeve.
Gildersleeve?
Sure. He's going to send you one, I bet you.
What?
A 25-center, too.
He is? Honest? Gee, I'm glad you told me, sis. Well, I ain't going to be outdone in neighborliness and friendship. I'll send him one. You got any that cost 50 cents?
Here's one right here. Look at all the pretty lace on it, too.
Oh, that ought to be great for Gildersleeve. How does the verse read, sis?
It says, quote, When the river of life is dark and muddy, I'll still have you, my pal and buddy. Unquote. I got an awful cold tonight, Mr. McGee.
That's funny. I don't feel anything at all.
Well, that's a pretty sweet Valentine, all right. Old Gildersleeve is my pal and buddy, too.
Why, sure he is.
In spite of the fact that we have our little squabbles.
Have you?
Have I what? I says, have I what?
Have you got little squabbles, have you?
Why, sure don't everybody.
No. My papa started to raise squabs once, but he never got any little squabbles.
Well, let's skip the ornithology and stick to humanity, sis. I'll take this Valentine.
All righty, here you are, mister.
Yes.
And I hope Mr. Gildersleeve doesn't feel bad because his wasn't as pretty as yours.
Oh, well, never mind that. It's the sentiment that counts, sis. What does his say, by the way?
It says, quote, If there's one thing I abhor, it's that nasty little boy, that shrimp who works me to the core, the little squirt who lives next door. Unquote. So long, mister.
Old shrimp that lives next door, eh? I'll fix that. What were we talking about, Molly?
Well, we were talking about your appearance.
Oh, yes, my appearance.
Well, it's so discouraging.
Discouraging?
When I think how dapper you looked when we were married, you with your fancy vest and your pointed toes, and your hat turned up in front and all.
Remember that yellow top coat I had with the black velvet collar?
Yeah.
That was pretty hot stuff.
Yeah. And that long ivory cigarette holder you carry?
Yeah. Them sweet caprals. Dear. Inhaled every puff, too.
Now you just don't seem to care. Of course, you haven't got the athletic build you used to have.
I have, too. I got a better build now than I had then. I'm more filled out more.
Where?
Well, never mind. If I wanted to, I could make Wilcox and Gildersleeve and Uncle Dennis look like a bunch of old Okies.
Oh, go on.
Shucks, take away them open work shoes and padded shoulders of theirs, and what would you have left? 3 sneers from the draft board.
Now, don't give me that, McGee. Why, you should have heard what the tailor said when I took your other suit out to be mended again.
What'd he say?
Again?
Well, I told you, Molly, that suit was too old to be mended. I asked you to give it to the Salvation Army.
I did. And they sent it back. Sent it back with a basket of groceries. Well, I guess I'll spend the rest of our married life here and people make unkind remarks about that careless old man, Fibber McGee.
That's right, I ain't old, and I ain't careless.
Why, of course you're not, dearie.
No.
You just like to be comfortable, that's all.
You betcha.
Personally, I love you with your elbows all shiny and your trouser cuffs frayed like that.
Oh, well.
What if you do bulge in the wrong places?
I do not bulge in the wrong places. Here, look at this chest expansion.
What was that?
I busted my belt. Well, I needed a new one anyway.
Well, why don't you go downtown and get one now? Maybe you could get a new suit to go with it, huh?
Well, I might at that. Come to think of it, I will. I'll go get a whole new outfit right now. I'll get a flock of duds that'll make Gildersleeve and Wilcox and Uncle Dennis look like hitchhikers on Tobacco Road.
Good.
Why, when I make up my mind...
Come in.
Hello there, Garner. Hello, Johnny.
Hi, old-timer.
I'm the new milkman. Want any milk today?
No, thank you, Mr. Oldtimer. We're going out and we'll probably eat downtown.
And believe me, old-timer, when I get back, I'll look like a page out of Esquire. I mean pretty, not petty.
That's pretty good, Johnny. But that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one feller says to t'other feller, says, how come you been stepping out with that Eskimo nursemaid for 6 months? Well, says t'other feller, this is her night out. Don't you get it? Well, sure you don't want any milk today, kid?
No, thank you, old-timer.
Okay. Come on, Elsie. Watch them steps now.
Molly, before we go inside the store, let's look in the window here a minute.
All right. Let's see what the well-dressed dummy is wearing this spring.
Nothing personal.
Did you think there was?
Well, I'd hope there was. I always wanted to cultivate the air that a clothing store dummy has got. Kind of nonchalant and supercilious and haughty and all stuff like that there. Takes 6 generations of money in the family to achieve an expression like that.
Yes, it's strange how often a vacant face goes with a full pocket. Which ought to give you a very expressive countenance, dearie.
Thanks. Hey, look at that silly-looking suit there. Third from the left. It's Chevrolet, ain't it?
No, you mean Cheviot.
I do not. Cheviot means Russian, like in the Cheviot government.
That's Soviet.
Oh, no. You're thinking of Serviette, ain't you?
No, a serviette is a napkin.
It couldn't be. Russians don't use napkins. They grow beards instead.
That's what I've been trying to say. You'll have a beard down to here before I let you buy a suit like that.
Well, I didn't want it anyway. Personally, I go for that outfit in the middle there. The one with the green tweed coat and the yellow sweater and the fawn-colored pants.
Oh, my.
I seen a photo of Bob Hope wearing a combination like that.
Well, that's different. Bob Hope is a successful actor.
What's he got that I haven't got?
2 things.
Huh?
He's successful and he's an actor.
Well, shucks, if he's... let's get inside quick. Here comes Mrs. Uppington.
Too late. She sees us.
Huh?
And speaking of clothes, McGee, take a good look at her.
Yeah. Fur coat by Bergdorf Goodman, shoes by I. Miller, and a face by a cross-eyed sculptor with a hiccup.
Well, you can't begrudge an old war horse a new harness when... Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Uppington? So nice to see you.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. McGee? And Mr. McGee.
Hi, Uppy.
We were just commenting on how lovely you look today, Abigail.
Yeah. New coat, Uppy?
Yes, baby lamb.
Oh, really, cutie pie?
She needs the coat as baby lamb.
Oh, well, speaking of clothes, Uppy, I'm down here to get me a new outfit myself today, myself.
Really? Well, I don't blame you.
If you're referring to this suit I got on, Uppy, I admit it looks a little tired. But when I bought it, it was pretty snappy.
Yes, sir.
That's
it was the first English group in town.
English drip.
English drape.
Oh, droop, drip, drape, let's drop it. But I should imagine you'd be a very difficult person to fit, Miss McGee.
What do you mean, Abigail?
Well, I mean, Miss McGee, that you would be high, wide, and handsome if you were a little higher and a little handsomer.
He is a little wide, isn't he, Abigail? It's a sleeper jump between his handkerchief and his wallet.
Okay. You girls go right on and have fun at my expense.
Oh, please don't take it seriously, Mr. McGee. In fact, I was defending your appearance to a group of ladies at the club just this morning.
Oh, that was sweet of you, Abigail. What did they say?
Oh, they said something about Mr. McGee always looking like a scarecrow.
Oh, yeah, well,
But I immediately rushed to your defense, Mr. McGee.
You did?
Yes, I did. I said, indeed. And why should he not look like a scarecrow?
Huh?
He has to do something to protect all that corn. Well, goodbye.
All that corn. Well, did you hear that old turtle, Dove? What does she know about style? Why, Molly, you look better in a kitchen apron than she does dressed up for the governor's ball.
But you're wrong, dearie. When it comes to putting on the Waldorf, I can't hold a candle to her, much as I would like to if it was lit. Now, come on in, let's get you some clothes.
Hey, boy, this is a pretty doggy place, ain't it, Molly?
Yes, but now don't you forget you're used to walking upstairs and saving $10.
Yeah.
This is the first time you ever bought a suit at sea level.
Yes, sir. Have you been waited on, sir?
Oh, hi, Bud. Let me see something in a snappy suit of clothes.
Yes, sir. Just have a chair, sir, and I'll show you some samples. Have a cigarette, sir?
Oh, thanks, Bud.
Would Madame care for tea?
Oh, yes, I would, and a ham on rye.
Madame is very amusing. Now then, sir, just what sort of a suit did you have in mind? Would you like something in a sack?
You better put it in a box, Bud. It's liable to get all wrinkled in the sack.
Oh, no. No, sir. I meant what style? What was the purpose of this suit?
What's the purpose of any suit? To keep you from getting pinched, ain't it? Come on, Si. Quit stalling.
Suppose we approach this problem from another angle, sir. Did you have any particular material in mind?
Yeah, cloth.
Oh, McGee, you're a riot.
Kill me, too.
Oh, I'd love to shop with you.
Joking aside, Chauncey. What material do you think would fit my personality best?
Do you care for this herringbone material? It drapes beautifully
Oh, that's a lovely suit, McGee.
Boy.
Must be very expensive, though.
Yeah, think how many little herrings must have gone into a yard of that. How much is that there suit there, Bud?
Well, see, that suit is about...
There. Just a moment, my handsome young tailor. And I don't mean Robert.
Oh, good day, Mr. Boomer.
Hello, Mr. Boomer.
Good day, my dear. And a tittering Tuesday to you, titmouse.
Hi, Boomer.
If you will permit me to interrupt for one moment, I have a complaint to register in this emporium.
Oh, certainly, Mr. Boomer. We're in no hurry.
What's the matter, Horatio? Buy a sharkskin suit and discovered they gypped you out of a fin?
It was gabardine, Gabby. And at the next tone signal, it will indicate that I have converted your primitive skull into a Chinese gong.
Was that complaint in reference to that suit you're wearing, Mr. Boomer?
Certainly was, Swatchbox. Now, let me see. Complaint. Now, where did I put that complaint? Here's the short length of lead pipe I took away from a girlfriend last night. Stunning creature. Certainly was. Postcard from Sheila the shoplifter. Says she's in jail with the measles. Yes. I knew she'd be spotted sooner or later. And a check for short beer. Seems to have been a very brief routine, don't you think? I wonder what... yes, that was my complaint. Not enough pockets. I'll send her suit back tomorrow. Good day, gentlemen, and to you, fragile, fresh, and fragrant.
How much did you say this herringbone suit is?
$125, including alteration.
Oh, including alterations. Well, how much without the alterations?
$42.50.
Well, we'll take it and I'll make the alterations myself.
You make the alterations?
Why, sure.
Okay, wrap it up, Bud. And make it snappy. I got to go buy a hat.
You can get a hat in our haberdashery department, sir, right through the archway.
Okay, thanks. Molly, I took a shine to that suit the minute I set eyes on it.
What was that, Fibber? You took a shine to what?
Oh, hello, Mr. Wilcox.
I should have known better than to use that word shine. Wilcox, you grab at a cue like a Chinese barber.
McGee just got himself a new suit, Mr. Wilcox.
Yeah. From now on, Harlow, you can be the second best-dressed man in Wistful Vista.
Well, being well-dressed is a matter of business with me, chum. I can't go in dressed like a bum and talk to dealers about a high-class product like ours.
How come why?
Why? Everybody knows that Johnson's Wax is the finest protection for floors and furniture that money can buy. And I'd be pretty silly to interview a dealer or a wholesaler with the back of my blue serge pants looking like a personal demonstration, wouldn't I? But look, if you want my advice about clothes, Fibber...
I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't. I forgot more about clothes than you'll never know, Wilcox.
Oh, no,
Well, I have. Why, back in Peoria, I become so well known as a style setter that I still get letters now and then addressed to Fibber McGee, Esquire.
Yes, but in buying clothes now...
Why, when I walked into a clothing store and slipped into a coat, the salesman would just stand there and glow. Glow Coat McGee, I was known as. Glow Coat McGee, greeted from Gotham to the Golden Gate as the gaudy Galahad of the giddy get-up, getting the gals goo-goo and gaga with my glorious gravy gray gabardines, gossamer galosses, and garish garters garnished with gleaming garnet gewgaws, graceful and gay in green and grenadine, and getting the goat to guys like Gable with the glittering grandeur of my golfing garments. A gorgeous Goliath, you'd know at a glance, was Glow Coat McGee in his gunny sack hands.
The King's Men sing Clementine.
In a cavern, in a canyon, excavating for a mine, dwelled a miner, 49er, and his daughter, Clementine.
Oh, my darling.
Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, very sorry, Clementine. She was light and like a fairy, and her boots were number 9. Packing cases strung with laces were the shoes for Clementine.
Oh, my darling.
Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, very sorry, Clementine. Oh, she was driving little ducks to water while the steeple clock was striking 9. When she caught her foot and stumbled on a root and tumbled down into the brine. Oh, my darling, oh, my pretty little darling, oh, my darling Clementine. You are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. Her ruby lips above the water blowing by. darling Clementine. And now she's married to the fisher boy. That's how I lost my Clementine. Oh, my darling, oh, my pretty little darling, oh, my darling Clementine. I knew I lost you, lost to me, and gone forever, Dreadful sorry, Clementine. Dreadful sorry, Clementine.
You wish to see something in a hat, sir?
But I wish to be something in a hat. Show me the best boiler you got.
Yes, sir. What size do you wear?
Well, he takes the 6 7/8 with a haircut, 7.5 for the other 50 weeks of the year.
Any preference in color?
Oh, give me something snappy, bud. You got a green one with a red feather in the band?
Oh, certainly, sir. Several of them. Very swanky, too. Now, here's our latest Alpine model. Green felt, welt brim, and 2 feathers, one on each side.
Oh, that's wonderful. If you could wiggle your ears, McGee, you could fly home in that hat.
I'll tell you what, bud. Just put a stack of these Cadies on the counter here, and I'll try them on one at a time.
Oh, certainly, sir.
Now, here's them.
Oh,
Here
my.
you are. Full range of styles, sir.
Well, now, let's see. There's so many of them here, I'm kind of confused.
How about this fuzzy gray one, dearie?
Oh, no, that's too shaggy. I'd be coming out of the barber shop with my hat parted in the middle.
Oh, there, folks. Imagine meeting you here. Buying a hat, McGee?
Who, me? Why, no, Gildersleeve. I come in here on a checkup survey for my cousin, Yehudi McGee.
Yep.
Yeah. He's my midget cousin, you know.
Yes, and very prominent in the hat industry, too.
A midget? What does he do in the hat industry?
He crawls into the hats and ties them little white bows in the back of the sweatband.
Yehudi, eh? Well, that's very good, McGee. Now, if you'll stand aside, I'd like to select a hat.
Say, McGee was here first, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, I think there's room for both of these gentlemen.
Well, if you think that, you've never been in the same room very long with both these gentlemen.
You can pick out a hat when I get through, Gildersleeve. I get first choice.
Well, your choice would never be my choice anyway, McGee, so you go ahead.
Don't worry, I will, and I'm going to take my own sweet time about it, too.
Sure, why not? What's an hour or so in buying it when you wear them for 7 years?
Oh, he doesn't. He does not wear them for 7 years. They look like that because he worries.
Yes.
Here, dearie, try this one on.
Okay. Oh, but I don't like the shape of this.
Oh, that's one of our newest models, Mr. McGee. It's a pork pie.
Haven't you got one made out of rye crisp? His head is too fat now.
Now, you pipe down, Gildersleeve, or I'll take a feather out of one of these lids and knock you down with it.
Why, you pediculous little grunion.
Who's up, onion?
You get smart with me, and I'll scatter you around like a Sunday paper.
Oh, now, gentlemen. Let's not have any acrimony.
Why should they want acrimony? They're both still married.
They are? Well, congratulations, gentlemen. I hope you'll both be very happy.
Now, let's see. That ratted Gildersleeve, quit messing around with them hats. You're getting me all confused.
I've got a right to look at them if I want to. How much is this hat, clerk?
Well, Mr. Gildersleeve...
Put that hat down, Gildersleeve. That's mine.
It is not.
It is, too. I laid it there when I started trying them on. Give me that hat.
I will not.
Wait a minute, McGee. I don't...
Never mind, Molly. I can handle this. Gildersleeve, if you don't let go of that hat, I'm going to skin you alive and use your hide to bind a first edition of For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Why, you pernicious little anemic. You couldn't skin a grapefruit without getting lost among the rest of the little squirts. You let go of that.
Oh, no, you don't.
Gentlemen, please, let me settle this for you. I can...
You stay out of this.
But I work here.
Then quit. Come on now, Gildersleeve. Give me that
Stop
hat.
it, McGee. You're going to tear that hat.
Well, it's my hat. I can...
Oh, dear.
Oh.
Now, look what you did.
One of you men will have to pay for that showcase.
All right, McGee. But you haven't heard the end of this.
Yeah.
I'm going in to see the manager about this. By George, if a man can't buy a hat without some little...
Listen to the big crybaby, Molly. Listen to him. Well, I'll teach him he can't swipe my hat and get away with it.
But, McGee, I don't...
I'm sorry you had all this trouble, Mr. McGee. Now, let's get right down to business and select a hat that'll really...
Nothing doing, bud. I ain't buying any hats in a place that allows that stuff like that there to go on. I'll go right on wearing my old one. Where is my... Oh, here it is. How smushed up. Come on, Molly.
All right, but...
Come on, let's go. That head good. Well, anyway, I sure got a bargain in that suit, didn't I, Molly?
Well, I don't know about the suit, McGee, but you got a rare bargain in that hat.
What you mean?
You didn't have a hat on when you went in there.
Rip and Molly will be back in just a moment. And now I'd like to offer a word of advice to everybody who has bought new linoleum this year or who intends to buy some soon. Wouldn't you like to know how experts advise caring for linoleum? Both linoleum manufacturers and housekeeping institutes advise strongly against scrubbing. Continuous scrubbing weakens the surface, causes it to crack and split and wear out before it's time. The recommended way to protect your linoleum floors is with Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. This easy-to-use floor polish protects linoleum against wear and scratches. Actually makes linoleum last much longer. Glow Coat gives a sparkling, long-lasting polish, preserves the beauty of the colors. And all this in addition to saving you hours of work, because Glow Coat needs no rubbing or buffing. Simply apply and let dry. In 20 minutes, your floor is gleaming with new beauty. Will you take my advice? Just try Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat once.
Oh, McGee, look at all the lovely valentines in the stationer's window.
Yeah, but I was going to get you a box of candy for Valentine's Day. You know, like I always do.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, you mean you don't want a box of candy?
No, dearie, make it a valentine.
Oh.
You can't send me that and then eat it all yourself.
Good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
Hello? Yes? Oh, I'm sorry. Fibber, McGee, and Molly have just gone off the air. Yes, next Tuesday again. Yes? Yes? Oh, well, I can answer that. The name of that new polish for automobiles is Johnson's Car New. It both cleans and wax polishes your car in one easy operation. You simply apply it to the finish after washing, let it dry to a white powder, wipe it off, and there's that showroom shine again. Remember the name, Johnson's Car New. C-A-R-N-U. Better try some. You're welcome. Goodbye. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. More classic old-time radio coming your way next.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber, McGee, and Molly. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, presented by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. The show opens with What This Country Needs Is More Love. April, the month of showers, will be here before you can say Jack Robinson. And because of the coming showers, I'd like to pass along to you a very important housekeeping hint that will save you work and worry. It's this. Protect your windowsills with genuine Johnson's Wax. Then you won't have to worry if the rain splashes into your open window at night or if a sudden shower comes up before you can get home. The tough film of Johnson's Wax guards the finish. The rain wipes off easily and does no harm. And, of course, the wax makes cleaning windowsills easier all year long, besides turning a dirt spot into a beauty spot. Waxing windowsills is just one of the 100 extra labor-saving uses for Johnson's Wax that you will find listed right on the package. These are all in addition to the use of this famous wax polish for your floors, furniture, and woodwork. By all means, Johnson Wax your floors regularly for beauty, for economy, and for saving work. Nothing adds greater beauty to your entire home than floors that gleam under a rich, mellow Johnson Wax polish. Buy some tomorrow. Last week, the master of 79 Wistful Vista offered his services to the nation with no takers. And he is still mortified and chagrined at the humiliation. And here in the living room, one burning and one applying the old salve, we find Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
For goodness sakes, don't take it so to heart, dearie.
Oh, it wasn't the Army turning me down so much, Molly. It was everybody scoffing at me. Nobody even believed my intentions was sincerely.
Well, you've got such a reputation for embroidering the truth that whenever you start talking, They give you the needles.
Well, I like that. There ain't a more honest, upright, straightforward, down-at-the-mouth guy in the world than me. You know that.
Yes, I know it, but I seem to be unique.
But why? Why? What did I ever do to make people doubt me?
Well, you're always so imaginative, dearie. Your memory is too good. You remember things that never happened.
Why, Molly, I resent that. Just because I skid around a little and josh people, that don't mean that... I wonder if they'd believe me if I said come in.
Well, try it.
Come in. They did.
Hi, mister.
Oh, hello there, little girl.
Where's your uniform?
Huh? What uniform?
Well, I thought you enlisted in the Army.
Oh, no, they says I was too important a guy to waste at this particular time, sis. They're saving me for a real emergency.
Oh, my.
So I guess I ain't got any beef coming.
Any what?
Beef.
I'm hungry.
That ratted, sis, you're always hungry.
I know it.
Well, you got to learn to control your appetite, sis. It gives you character. Do you realize that when I was a young man out west, I lived on roots and berries for a whole winter? It's a fact. And when springtime come, I'd even gained 12 pounds and was tougher than rawhide. Well, even now, I'm a great kid in a street fight and the right guy to have around in a jam.
In a what?
In a jam. I know, you're hungry. Okay, Mrs. McGee will give you a couple of cookies.
I don't want a couple of cookies, I bet you.
Why not?
Because I bet you they wouldn't be very good with salt on them.
Who says you got to have salt on them?
My mama.
What?
She says to take everything you handed out with a grain of salt.
Oh, she did, eh?
Sure. She says you can pull more wild yarns than a puppy with a sweater.
Is that so?
Fibber is a fibber, fibber is a fibber, fibber is a fibber.
So, I'm full of wild yarn, am I? Why, that impudent little twerp. I got a good notion.
Now, here, take it easy, dearie. She's absolutely right. You are a fibber.
I'm never no such a thing.
Well, when did you live on roots and berries for a whole winter?
In 1911. I was broke, and two families I knew put me up for the winter.
What two families?
The Charlie Roots and the Joe Berries. See, I was telling the truth. And that settles it, Molly. I'm going to do something about it and do it quick.
About what?
That name of mine, Fibber.
Well, how on earth did your parents ever come to call you Fibber in the first place?
They didn't. I was named after my fourth cousin, Walpole J. Fimmer.
Fimmer?
Yeah, but the minister that christened me had a cold in his head.
Well, I agree with you, dearie, that Fibber isn't very dignified.
Of course it ain't, and I'm going to change it, too, legally.
Change it to what?
Well, I might as well have one with some class to it. Something befitting the president of the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, my.
Like Chauncey. Or Cyril. Or Archibald.
Say, how about Pierpont?
Pierpont?
My grandfather's name was Pierpont Driscoll.
Yeah?
He was in the clothing business.
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Well, his advertisements always said, get a Driscoll suit with 2 piers of pond.
Oh, help me up. I'm all cut. That was awful, Molly. Besides that, that's too tricky. How about Willoughby McGee? Or maybe Marmaduke? Or Parmalee? Hey, there's a good one. Parmalee Upton McGee. How's that?
Oh, that's no good.
Why not?
Think of the initials. P.U. McGee.
Oh. Hey, how about Ronald McGee? That sounds kind of ritzy, don't it? I kind of like that. Ronald McGee.
Ronald McGee.
Ronald McGee.
Ronald.
Ronald McGee.
Ronald McGee.
Ronald McGee. That does it. From now on, Molly, I ain't Fibber McGee. I'm Ronald. You get that?
Okay, Ronnie. But are you really going to change it legally?
You bet I am. We're going downtown right now and see a lawyer. Where's my birth certificate?
It's in the hall closet.
Well, you put your hat on while I get it.
All right, Ronald, but
yeah.
I don't know what we're going to do about the initials on your handkerchiefs and everything.
Oh, well, we'll worry about that later. Dad's rat this door anyway. I wonder what... Hey, Molly.
Yes?
Did you lock the door to this hall closet?
What'd you say, Ronald?
I says, did you lock the door to this hall closet? Oops!
What did you ask me, dearie?
Never mind. Hurry up, Molly. I want to see those lawyers before they go out to lunch.
Oh, heavenly days, McGee. What's all the rush?
I want to get there.
I think this business of changing your name is too silly for words anyway.
Yeah. You didn't think it was silly when I changed your name, did you?
Well, that was different. Say, how about all your clothes and belt buckles and things with your initials on them, FM? How can you use those when you're Ronald McGee?
Oh, that's a trifling matter. Shucks, initials don't... Oh, my gosh.
What's the matter?
How about the initials I had tattooed on my chest?
Where your chest is now, dearie, they'll never be seen. Now, look, McGee, why don't you give up this silly idea and go home? You don't want to change your name to Ronald. Not really.
I do, too. Who wants to be called Fibber? Shucks, every time I meet somebody and say, nice day, ain't it? They smile, hold out their hands, and look up at the clouds. They won't even take my word for good morning.
Well, my goodness, you can't expect... Uh-oh. Here comes Mrs. Uppington.
Oh, that's just dandy. All I need right now is a few haughty whinnies from that horse-faced old hootenanny.
Hush, don't talk like that. Mrs. Uppington is not horse-faced. Her eyes are too small. Oh, how do you do, Mrs. Uppington? So nice to see you.
Oh, how do you do, my dear?
I believe you know my husband, Ronald McGee.
Oh, yes, who?
Me, Uppy. Ronald McGee.
Well, Ronald?
That's his new name, Abigail. He's changing it.
I'm on my way right now to have it done legal, Uppy. From now on, I'm Ronald McGee. You like it?
Oh, it's perfect, Mr. McGee. But tell me, what is the purpose in changing your name?
Well, he thinks because his name is Fibber, everybody expects him to fib.
Oh, that's utterly ridiculous, my dear.
Sure.
My husband's name was Robert, but he never robbed anyone.
Why? Of course not. A mere name means nothing.
Oh, I don't know. You know my cousin Gus?
Yes.
Ain't he disgusting?
Oh, is he really serious about this, Mrs. McGee?
Yes, I think he is, Abigail, and there's no use trying to talk him out of it. When his mind is made up, he's as stubborn as a male.
Don't you mean mule?
The terms are synonymous.
Okay, don't mind me. But it's my name, and I got a right to do with it what I want to do with it. And I'm determined to be Ronald.
Come to think of it, Mr. McGee, I agree with you.
Huh? You do?
Yes, I think Ronald is extremely fitting for you. It's appropriate, distinctive, and descriptive.
Why, Abigail,
As a matter of fact, I often tell people that the way Mr. McGee talks, he is continually continually reminding me of that movie actor Ronald...
Oh, you mean Ronald?
Yes, Ronald Duck.
Ronald Duck. You see what I mean, Molly? Nobody takes me serial. It'll be different when I'm established with a more dignified moniker.
Well, I don't know why. A can of corn with a pretty label is still a can of corn.
Oh, so now I'm a can of corn. Well, let me tell you, Mrs. Ronald McGee.
Well, hello there, folks. What are you looking so grim about, Fibber? Well?
He won't answer the fibber anymore, Mr. Wilcox. His name is Ronald now.
What? Ronald? Since when?
Since I said so, that's since when.
Say, what is this anyway? Are you serious?
I'm afraid he is. He doesn't seem to realize that a rose by any other name would still wind up in a Spanish dancer's teeth.
Oh, so now I'm a Spanish dancer, too. Well, kid me all you want. Have your fun. I can take it. I've been taking it all my life. And why? Because my name was Fibber, that's why.
And that's why you should keep it. You can't discount the value of an old, established name.
I'll cooperate. What you mean, Wilcox?
Well, I mean, suppose the Johnson Company changed the name of Glowcoat. Now, wouldn't that be ridiculous? Why, Johnson's self-polishing Glowcoat is known to millions as the finest no-rubbing, no-buffing polish for linoleum ever made, isn't it? Why, the very word Glowcoat means easy to use, labor-saving, and economy.
He's got a point there, McGee.
Well, tell him to go sit on it.
Okay. I know when I'm not wanted. So long, Molly. It's still Molly, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Good. Well, good day, Ronald, old chap. Pip, pip, chitty-o, chin up and all that. Carry on. Ha, ha, ha. Ronald. Ha, ha, ha.
Listen to that comedian, will you? Why don't he just come in, sell his glow coat, and get out? Who does he think he is, Barrymore?
Why not? You think you're Coleman.
That's about it, I do not. I'm just a guy that nobody ever takes serious. Every time the word goes around that McGee has an idea, everybody starts cheering from the Bronx. Come on, I got to see that lawyer.
What lawyers are you going to see, dearie?
Biggest firm in town. Beetlebaum, Firestone, Fogarty, and Fumble. Otherwise known as P5O-Fum. Here's their office right here.
Yes?
Hi, sis. I want to see one of the partners about an important case. Who's in?
Well, Mr. Beetlebaum is in court. Mr. Firestone is out of town. Mr. Fogarty is on vacation. And Mr. Fumble is tied up at the moment.
Tied up?
Yes. The other partners always tie him up when they go out. Otherwise, he chases ambulances.
How long does it usually take him to squirm loose?
He did it in 39 minutes the last time. He's getting to be a regular whodunit.
You mean Houdini, dearie. But maybe we better go someplace else now.
Hey, Clara, I've done it in 27 minutes. Had a little trouble with a knot under my chin, but... Oh, hello, kid.
Well, hello there, old-timer.
Don't tell us you're Mr. Fumble, the lawyer.
Sure am, daughter. Specializing in trespass, easements, public domain, and nolo contendery.
What was that last?
Nolo contendery, Johnny. That means that you got a clear case of malfeasance with no malice aforethought. The circumstantial evidence shows indications of flotsam or jetsam with implied breach of garnishee. You should have got his license number.
He knows a lot about law, McGee.
Look, old-timer, can I consult you a minute on a special case?
Why, sure, Johnny. Step right into my office. And, Clara...
Yes, Mr. Fumble?
If there's a phone call for me, tell him I want Skinnamarink $6 across the board in the fifth. Come on in, kid. You sit in the chair, daughter. You'll have to lean against the water cooler, Johnny. Only got one chair. Never had two clients with once before.
You'll probably never have one client twice either.
That's pretty good, Johnny. But that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it...
I object.
Objection sustained. What you being sued for, Johnny?
Oh, he's not being sued.
I want to change my name to Ronald. Fibber is too undignified. It's misleading. It's untrue, immaterial, and rear elephant. Will you handle the case for me?
Nope.
Why not? Aren't you a lawyer?
Yep. But you don't need a lawyer to change your name.
What?
Just go ahead and change it, Johnny. Law says you don't have to go to court for that. Hey, Clara!
Yes, Counselor?
Tie me up again, will you? Say, I bet I can get loose in 19 minutes this time. So long, kids.
The King's Men sing The Wise Old Owl.
When we strolled through the moonlight, you said, I love you. But the wise old owl in the old oak tree said, woo. You said you loved me all your whole life through. But the wise old owl in the hickory tree said, woo. So I never thought we'd say goodbye. That old bird must have known that now tonight he and I would be under the moon alone. Maybe I'll find a new love, that's what I should do. But the wise old owl in the maple tree said, hoo, hoo, hoo. I heard the wise old bird say, hoo, hoo. But how was I to know that he was just a-booing me and you? When we strolled through the moonlight, you said, I love you. But the wise old owl in the apple tree said, hoo, hoo, hoot-a-doot-a. You said I was the someone you'd sing love songs to. But the wise old owl in the cottonwood tree said, hoo, hoo, hoot-a-doot-a-doot. So I never thought we'd say goodbye. The old bird must have known that now tonight he and I would be here all alone. Maybe I'll find a new love, that's what I should do. But the wise old owl in the sycamore tree said, hoo, 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 who you gonna love when your love has gone away?
Well, I don't know why we had to rush down here to the courthouse, McGee.
Well?
The old-timer said you didn't need any court's permission to change your name.
What does that old fuddy-duddy know about law?
He studied it.
Well, I studied algebra, too, and I couldn't give you the square root of a geranium. And irregardless of what he says, I'm going to do this right. I'm going to get the court's approval and have it in the record.
Well, how long do we have to wait for this judicial nip-up?
Not long. I sent my petition in by the bailiff. He's going to call me when
Well, hello there, Mrs. McGee.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Hello, Fibber. Hello, Fibber!
You know, Molly, I sometimes think they ought to have separate courts for the better class of people. The way the public is permitted to holler and yell in our public buildings is a disgrace to the...
Now, look here, McGee. You heard me speak to you.
Did you mean me, my good fellow?
Yes, I mean you, and I'm not a good fellow. Anyway, I'm not your good fellow. Why don't you answer somebody when they speak to you?
Would you answer if he called you Jasper?
Well, Jasper's not my name.
Well, Fibber ain't my name either, Jasper.
He's changing his name to Ronald, Mr. Gildersleeve.
What? He is?
Yes.
Ronald. What's the idea, McGee?
Because Fibber ain't dignified, that's what's the idea. It ain't commensurate with my professional and social standing.
Your social standing, eh? You, the Jeter Lester of Wistful Vista.
Who's Jeter Lester?
Have you seen Tobacco Road?
Don't change the subject. Who's Jeter Lester?
Why, you illiterate little four-flusher, you wouldn't know if I told you.
I wouldn't stand for that, McGee. You're not so little.
Now, you look here, Gildersleeve. If I didn't have important business in that courtroom any minute now, I'd teach you a lesson.
Oh, you would?
Yes, I would.
You couldn't teach multiplication on a rabbit farm, you ignoramus. And don't you double up your puny little fist at me, either.
Now, listen, he'll double up his puny little fist at whomsoever he wants to.
I'll say I will. That bullfrog baritone of yours don't scare me, Gildersleeve.
You're a hard man, Ronald.
Now, look here, boys. If you want to fight...
Excuse me. Mr. McGee's case is being called.
Thanks, Bill. Be right in.
Mr. McGee's case. Oh, my goodness. Are you in trouble, little chum? Why didn't you let me know? Who did you kill, McGee? And I'll bet he deserved it.
No, it's just about changing his name legally, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Oh, I see. Ronald. Well, good luck, Ronald.
Thanks, Judy. Come on, Molly.
Is Mr. McGee in the courtroom? Mr. McGee?
Here I come, Judge. I'm McGee.
The court has a petition in your name for legal change of nomenclature. Are you the petitioner?
Yes, he is, Your Honor.
And who are you?
Molly McGee. Molly Driscoll, as was, and married to the defendant for nearly 20
I ain't a defendant, Molly. I haven't done anything.
Now, what was the purpose behind your desire to change your name, McGee?
Business reasons, Bud.
Bud?
McGee, when you speak to Bud, say Your Honor.
Excuse me, Judge. Yes, I want to adopt the name of Ronald McGee for business and professional reasons.
What is your business?
Oh, a little of everything, Your Honor.
I think my favorite occupation, my avocado, you might say.
Avocation?
Yes, I think what I do best is fish.
That's so. Mm-hmm. I'm quite an angler myself.
Really? What's your angle?
He means he fishes too, Molly. You ever been up in the Succotash River country, Your Honor?
Oh, where's that?
Oh, southwest of the Puyallup Mountains and east of the San Verde foothills. Not many fellows know about that place. Be glad to take you up there sometime.
Oh, thank you very much. You really get 'em up there, do you?
Say, by the way, what's your first name, Judge?
Conrad.
Tell Connie about the time you caught the 45-pound cougar.
Oh, yeah. Well, sir, that was in the spring of 1911, Connie. I just come back to camp with a big buck antelope for dinner.
Out of season to shoot antelope, wasn't it?
Well, I didn't shoot it. I strangled it. Self-defense, you know. It attacked me first.
Yeah, with a knife this long.
No. Oh, no, Nolly. Not with a knife. That's ridiculous.
Well, go on, McGee, about this big fish.
What big fish? Oh, yes. Well, sir, everybody knew there was a big fish in that part of the Succotash River, but nobody had ever seen it till I come along and caught it.
What bait did you use?
2 aspirin tablets.
Aspirin tablets? My word, never heard of such a thing.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, they say they're fine for a headache, too. Well, sir, I dropped my line over the back of the motorboat.
Motorboat? How on earth did you ever get a motorboat up in those mountains?
He packed it in by dog sled, didn't you, dearie?
I didn't know there were any sled dogs in this part of the country.
Oh, I raised these myself. Kind of a sideline with me.
Personally, I always thought raising those dogs took too much time away from your counterfeiting, dearie.
What's this? Counterfeiting?
Yeah, I used to build counters and fit them into new stores, Jeff. I'm an expert cabinet maker.
Oh, I see. Quite an all-round fellow, aren't you?
Oh, indeed he is, Your Honor. He's around all the time.
What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Well, sir, I seen I was running out of gas, so I adjusted my parachute and got ready to bail out.
Bail out of what? You were in a motorboat fishing.
Fishing for what? Oh, yeah. I just wanted to see if you was paying attention, Connie, old man. Well, sir, I never had such a battle with a fish in my life. The minute salmon smelled the Roquefort cheese, I always used Roquefort as bait for salmon.
Now, just a minute, my good man. I think this has gone far enough.
I haven't caught him yet.
I never heard such a string of fables in my life. Huh? You're insulting my intelligence.
Say, he never said a word about your intelligence.
Why, Judge, Conrad, you mean to sit there in your big black nightgown and accuse me of...
Be quiet. Now, I've heard enough. Leave this courtroom.
But how about his petition, Your Honor?
What petition?
Why, to change my name. I want to change my first name to Ronald.
From what?
Fibber.
Petition denied. Now get out! Ronald, Fibber and Molly will return in just a moment. In the meantime, I'd like to say a word about dogs. You know, Scotties and Cocker Spaniels and Terriers. They're so loyal and they look up at you with such kind, dependent eyes. They really are wonderful pals to have around, aren't they? Especially if you have children. And yet, when they come romping across your clean kitchen floor with wet and muddy feet, it takes a woman with a very good disposition not to get angry. I should say either a very good disposition or a kitchen floor that's protected with Johnson's self-polishing glow coat. After all, you can't put a fence around your kitchen. The groceries, meat, and milk have to be delivered. Why not solve that kitchen floor problem once and for all with Glow Coat, the modern floor polish that takes no rubbing or buffing, that shines as it dries, and protects your floor with a long-lasting, beautiful finish. You simply apply Glow Coat and let it dry. In 20 minutes, your floor is protected and beautiful, and the linoleum colors are as bright as new. Buy a can of Johnson's self-polishing glow coat right away.
Hey, Molly.
Yes?
Look, when I started to tell that judge about an innocent fishing trip, why did you have to throw in all that extra stuff? That's what ruined me. Now, I had to back you up.
Well, I was just demonstrating, dearie, that you're naturally much more of a fibber than you are a Ronald. You don't really care, do you?
No, not really. But what burns me up, that judge deceived me.
How?
Well, I've been looking at the atlas, and there ain't any Succotash River in the Puyallup Mountains.
He didn't say there was. You did.
Huh? Oh, that's right. Well, good night.
Good night, all.
This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
Hello, folks. I'm your garage man. You know, times surely have changed. I remember when it used to take half a day to wax polish your car. Real hard work, too. And now look how easy the job is with Johnson's Car New. And look at that row of shiny cars. Don't they look swell? Yes, sir, wax polishing is easy with Car New because Car New both cleans and wax polishes in one operation. Try Johnson's Car New yourself. It doesn't cost much.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Our next broadcast is a science fiction drama series that was broadcast from April 24th, 1955 to January 9th, 1958 in various time slots on NBC. Known for its high production values and adapting stories from the leading American authors of the era, it has been described as one of the finest offerings of American radio drama and one of the best science fiction series in any form and medium. We present to you X-1 on HOJO Radio.
Countdown for blastoff. X -5, -4, -3, -2, X -1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 would-be worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X -1. Tonight's story, The Man in the Moon.
Attention, attention. This is the Federal Bureau of Missing Persons calling all local agencies. Attention, this is a coded report nationwide. Missing since 9 o'clock this morning, the following persons: Smigley Jonathan, 5 feet 8 inches tall, brown hair, brown eyes, mastoid scar behind right ear, last seen wearing blue top coat and tan cap, wanted by Los Angeles... Hello, get off this wavelength. This is a restricted band.
Hello, Earth.
Whoever you are, you're on a coded wavelength. Tune out. This frequency is reserved for the Federal Bureau of Missing Persons.
Hello, Earth. This is the moon calling Earth. Hello, Earth.
This guy is loony.
This is Jake in transmission.
Jake, this is Charlie of the code room. Some crackpot is on our frequency.
Yeah, I heard him, Charlie. I've got CQ trying to trace a source now. We should have a triangulation any second.
Well, hurry it up, will you? Some ham is in for a good stiff fine by the FCC.
Yeah, they ought to take his license away. Oh, here comes Lenny with the directional fix.
Right.
Thanks, Lenny. Hey, what's this? This is impossible.
What's going on down there? How about it? Get that ham out of my kilocycles.
Oh, listen, Charlie, unless this is a gag, that interference is being beamed from 240,000 miles away.
Oh, now, Jake, you know there ain't no such thing as 240,000 miles away.
Yes, there is, Charlie, straight up.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Charlie, that signal is coming from the moon.
Are you nuts?
Well, somebody might be bouncing it like a radar signal.
Radar on this frequency? Where'd you study basic radio?
Now, listen, Flathead, you asked for a fix. I gave the best fix our instruments can find. Take it or leave it. Somebody on the moon is calling the Bureau of Missing Persons.
What's the sweat, Charlie? Shouldn't you be broadcasting?
Listen, Mr. Timken. You know I'm a sober citizen, right?
Hmm?
Never once have I broadcast with the smell of alcohol on my breath, right?
Right.
In all your 12 years here at the Bureau, did I once
what's
ever...
What's the matter, Charlie?
We're picking up a message on our wavelength.
Well, did you report to the FCC?
I ain't got the nerve.
Well, what's wrong?
You'll scream when you hear this, Mr. Timken. You'll jump right out the window, but... We are getting an SOS from the moon. Well, that's it. He started on voice and switched to Morse. The way the signal repeats sounds like a phonograph record or automatic sender of some sort.
Well, what's it say?
Let's see here. Can you read me? Help. Otterburn. Will contact when moon is in phase.
Let's have that again.
Can you read me? Help. Otterburn. Will contact when moon is in phase.
Otterburn.
That sounds like a name, huh?
Otterburn. Wait a minute.
Something registered?
Cornelius Otterburn. Holy jumping Jehoshaphat.
Hey, where are you going?
Talk to the chief.
Hey, wait a minute. What are you going to tell him? We just got a CQ from the man in the moon?
That's exactly what I am going to tell him, Charlie. Hey.
Oh, this is just too much for me.
Washington Star-Ledger.
Let me have O'Brien on city desk.
A moment.
O'Brien?
Seamus,
Yeah?
Charlie Starbuck down at the Missing Persons Bureau. You want a hot one? No kidding. This'll cost you a beer, okay?
All right, shoot, Noodle Brain. I'll stay on your wavelength for 30 seconds.
Okay. We just got a radio message from the moon.
Yeah. What?
From the moon.
Call me back when you're sober.
Okay, Seamus, if you don't know a story when you see one,
I'll send you the name of a good psychiatrist. So long, Orson Welles.
How do you like that? You don't believe me.
Otterburn, Mr. Wade. Now, does that name ring a bell?
You're the man with the photographic memory, Henry. What about Otterburn?
Cornelius Otterburn, atomic physicist, reported missing from his home in Baltimore on June 5th, 1945. Just 5 years ago. Vanished completely.
Are you trying to tell me you really think there's something to this man of the moon business? Henry, I'm surprised at you. This is some crackpot trying to jam the airwaves.
Yes, but the name Otterburn is so unusual.
So are a lot of names.
But I have a theory that...
I was afraid of that. Henry, you always have a theory. Let's see, what was it last year? Oh, yes. That people disappear in occupational psych.
But it's true.
Please, Henry, I'm a busy man. You expect me to believe that this Otterburn is sitting up on the moon, sending out shortwave messages?
Well, he might be on Earth bouncing the messages off the moon. But who's to say he isn't on the moon?
Henry, as chief of this bureau, I have my hands full trying to coordinate reports from 48 states and Alaska. I have no time to include the moon.
But, Mr. Wade...
Out, Henry.
But, Mr. Wade...
Out, I'm busy.
Yes.
Oh, here. Take this folder of reports for the dead file.
Yes, sir.
And no more nonsense, eh, Henry?
Yes.
I appreciate that you have a very dull job filing old missing persons reports, and I appreciate that you take an active interest in the affairs of the Bureau. But no more nonsense, huh?
No, sir. No more nonsense.
Pardon me.
Hmm?
You are Mr. Henry Timken.
That's my name.
Permit me, Jefferson Philo, scientific feature writer.
Oh, how do you do? Oh, are you a newspaper man?
Not exactly. I write as a hobby. Occasionally the papers give me leads on an assignment. If I may have a moment of your time.
Oh, certainly. Just sit down at my desk over here.
Thank you. My, that's quite a stack of papers.
Filing. I'm the records custodian of the Bureau. 12 years and never misplaced a record.
Magnificent. I admire the precise mind, Mr.
Timken.
Of course. Now, Mr. Timken, Mr. O'Brien, the editor of the Star-Ledger, said I might drop by and investigate a rumor. Only a rumor, mind you, that a message from the, moon?
Well, we aren't certain it's from the moon. It may be a bounce. They have bounced radar waves off the moon, you know.
Yes, I know. I wrote the first newspaper article on it.
Really? I'd be interested to read it.
I must have a copy in my briefcase.
Well, don't bother.
Oh, but I insist. Oh, yes. There you are. I'll leave it on your desk.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now, about this message from the moon, Mr. Timken.
Well, now, we don't know for sure, as I said. But I believe that this message, wherever it originates, is from Cornelius Otterburn.
The physicist?
Oh, do you know him?
I once wrote an article on his contribution to nuclear mechanics. A brilliant man, Otterburn. Years ahead of his contemporaries.
Well, whoever is sending those signals, if he isn't on the moon, is at least using the moon as a sounding board, bouncing the signal.
But why, Mr. Timken? Why?
Well, if you will come here tomorrow night at 8, Mr. Philo, we may learn the answer to that question. I've arranged with Charlie, our radio man, to let me use the equipment.
May I consider this an invitation?
You certainly may.
Very well, sir. Until tomorrow night, then.
Goodbye, Mr. Philo. Let's see now. Aiken, Abelard, Abramson, Rono, Atch. Well, that's funny. Now, where did this list of names come from? Paul Ahrens, astromathematician. Robert Simons, electronic engineer. Carl Parker, mining specialist. Well, this must have got mixed up with the papers on my desk by accident. Peculiar list of names. Oh, good morning, Charlie.
Oh, hi, Mr. Timken. See, we made the papers.
Oh?
And how? And as the chief steamed up about it, he really gave me what for.
What did the paper say?
Oh, mostly ha-ha. Here's the Herald. Listen. Man on the moon contacts Missing Persons Bureau. Missing atomic scientists sitting on the moon, say Bureau experts, etc., etc. What a panning.
Well, no wonder Mr. Wade is hopping.
Say, about tonight, Mr. Timken, I don't
Now,
know.
you promised you'd give me a key to the radio room.
Yeah, but I didn't expect
Well,
this.
I'll take full responsibility with Mr. Wade.
At the time for the morning broadcast, we got quite a list today.
Well, mind if I listen a while? We may hear Otterburn.
Well, I ain't self-conscious. Just stick around.
Yes.
Attention, attention. This is the Federal Missing Persons Bureau calling all local agencies. Nationwide. This is a coded broadcast. The following persons are missing. Ahrens, Dr. Paul, 5'5", brown hair, brown eyes, scar on left side of chin, thick glasses.
Ahrens.
Occupation, astromathematician. Missing since 6 o'clock this morning. Being sought by Bel Air police.
Charlie.
Repeat. Dr. Paul
Charlie,
Ahrens.
shut it off a second.
Hold it. Delay 1 minute. Listen, Mr. Timken, it's okay to stay, but you can't interrupt
Now,
this.
this is important. Did you say Dr. Ahrens was reported missing this morning?
6 a.m. We got the report from Bel Air less than an hour ago.
Are you certain, Charlie?
Positive. What is this?
Charlie, what's the next name on the list?
Let's see. Simons, Robert, engineer.
What?
Came in less than 20 minutes ago.
20?
Hey, what's the matter with you? You look like you've seen a ghost.
It's nothing, Charlie, except that last night, quite by accident, someone left a list of names on my desk, and that list included the names of those 2 men who were reported missing within the last hour.
What? Oh, that don't sound right to me.
Well, it isn't right, Charlie. It leaves a big question to be answered. Who would make up a list of missing persons before they were missing, not after?
And you say this list of names was left on your desk accidentally?
Well, I believe so, Mr. Wade.
Do you have any ideas, Henry?
Well, it's hard to say. Mr. Philo left some papers from his briefcase.
Mr. Philo?
Well, a science feature writer.
I see. You were the leak on that story, then?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid I was. I didn't think it would be treated as a laughing matter.
Well, we'll deal with that later.
Yes, sir.
What's this Philo like?
Well, he's a strange old duck, bald, thick glasses, tall. He walks stooped over. Seems to know a great deal about scientific data, but, of course, being a science writer,
Is there any other possibility?
I believe that this is all hooked up with the broadcast from Otterburn.
That seems to be a very remote possibility.
Well, the Missing Persons Bureau deals in remote possibilities, Mr. Wade.
I do not require a statement of policy.
Yes, sir.
What's the theory?
Well, for some time now, it has been my contention that in a country like ours, where even the cleverest criminal can be ferreted out and located eventually, there is no such thing as a missing person.
I was afraid of that.
Now, for 12 years now, I have kept the central files, where information from all over the country is channeled and recorded. I have made a private study.
This is beginning to sound familiar, Henry.
And I have discovered that each year, literally thousands of persons vanish, leaving no trace. They are never located. Where do they go? Nobody knows.
And
they disappear in interesting cycles.
What sort of cycles?
Occupations, for example. One year we'll have a run on, well, say, coal miners. Next year, the proportion of engineers increases. And then scientists. And
what do you think happens, Henry?
I don't know, Mr. Wade, but I'm beginning to suspect that somebody else has discovered the same phenomenon, even to the point, perhaps, of being able to predict who will turn up among the missing next.
Philo?
Well, I don't know. But I would like to find out.
And you think Otterburn may be a part of this picture?
Mr. Wade, I definitely do.
Henry, do you honestly expect me to buy an idea like that?
It is more than an idea. The two top men on this list are missing, and...
Maybe so, but the rest of them aren't. Parker, Watson, Gibbs. Why, I saw Parker in the restaurant where I had lunch today.
Yes, but
and if you
Mr.
think
Wade...
I'm going to make myself a laughingstock by accepting such a crack-brained theory...
Well,
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hello, Wade speaking. Yes? Yes? I see. What name? Just a moment. Henry, let me see that list again.
Here you are, sir.
Go ahead. I see. I'll get back to you. I guess I owe you an apology, Henry.
Sir?
Carl Parker was just reported missing.
Parker?
Third man on your list.
Holy mackerel.
Exactly. Henry, for a good many years now, I've ridiculed these theories of yours. I don't know. Perhaps I've underestimated you. Maybe this time you've really stumbled onto something.
What do you intend to do, Mr. Wade?
I don't know. I haven't thought it out yet.
I was planning to listen for another broadcast tonight in the hope that Otterburn might try to contact us again.
Good idea. I believe I'll join you.
I also invited Mr. Philo, the feature writer.
Oh? I'll be glad to meet him. I'm beginning to get interested in you, Mr. Philo.
Mr. Wade, you don't think...
That he's mixed up in this?
Yes.
I don't know, Henry. But it suddenly strikes me that we don't know very much about him, really.
We ought to contact the police.
No, Henry. I think we're better off keeping this between ourselves for the moment. We're dealing with the unknown. And in solving an equation for the X factor, it's often easier to limit the number of terms. You follow me?
I don't know, Mr. Wade.
There may be more danger in what you have discovered than you are aware of. Let's keep it quiet. You agree?
Maybe you're right, Mr. Wade. I haven't thought of the danger involved.
8 o'clock. My friend Mr. Philo is late.
Well, he said he'd be here. He strikes me as a man who keeps appointments.
Look out the window.
Yes.
The moon is almost in direct phase. Can't wait much longer.
Well, it's a perfectly clear night for transmission. If anybody's sending, we ought to pick it up with this equipment.
You'd better switch on the set.
Yes. I never realized how eerie this office could be when it was empty.
I left a light in the hall for Mr. Philo when he comes. Are you getting anything?
Just some foreign stuff, I think.
That concludes the British portion of tonight's programming from Johannesburg, South Africa. We continue in April.
That's a peculiar transmission sound.
Earth.
Now, that sounds like something. See if I can work the selector.
The moon is in phase.
Yes.
Hello, Earth. Can you hear me?
I'll try to return. Hello? Hello?
Hello, Earth.
Hello, do you hear me?
Oh, I get you now. Thank God.
Who are you? Can you hear me? Who are you?
This is Professor Cornelius Otterburn. Hello?
Go on, I hear you.
Not much time. They're on to me. They've located my sending point. You hear me?
Go ahead, keep talking.
I've only enough oxygen for a few minutes more.
Well, where are you?
I'm on the Earth side of the moon. You get that? The Earth side of the moon. A volcanic crater.
Good. Start that recorder, Mr. Wade. Go on. Explain, please. Explain,
Now
please.
listen closely. There is an Earth colony on the moon. There is an Earth colony on the far side of the moon, made up of renegade scientists and criminals. Professor Ernst Halsman.
He died in an insane asylum in 1938.
Professor Ernst Halsman discovered nuclear rocket power in 1935. Turned his plans over to escaped inmates of the asylum. They took off and set up a colony on the far side of the moon in 1938.
Go ahead, we're recording you.
Each year, they recruit new colonists from Earth. Slave labor, mostly. I was kidnapped in 1945.
Yes, I know. Keep talking.
They wanted me to work on atomic drive for their flying disc. Hello?
Still getting you. Go on.
Last month, 6 others and I escaped.
Speak louder.
You got to stop them. Stop them.
Stop who?
The moon colony, planning to take over the Earth invasion. Oh.
Hang on.
No oxygen. Hard to breathe. Listen. They have agents on Earth. You hear me?
Agents on Earth? Where? Who? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Agents in...
Henry, look out. Someone at the window. Get down. Henry, are you all right?
I think so. His shot smashed the transmitter.
And the lights. Strike a match. Careful.
It was close.
I got a look at him. From the description, it was your Mr. Philo.
We got a recording anyway, but not the most important part of the message. Poor Otterburn, suffocating to death.
Henry, we've got to get you out of here. He said they have agents. Philo was probably one of them. He'll be looking for you now, trying to kill you.
But the police...
You think the police would believe a fantastic story like this? People being kidnapped to the moon as slave labor? Moon colony planning an invasion of the Earth? But Henry, believe me, they'd trap us into straitjackets before we could finish.
We've got to do something.
We need time. Time to get proof.
You don't think my theory was bunk then?
I know it wasn't, Henry. Right now, my only concern is for your safety.
But we can't walk out of here. Philo's probably waiting.
Listen, there's a service elevator that leads to the basement garage.
Yeah?
We can get down there. There are some delivery trucks parked there all night. We can probably get one started. The garage door's off the ramp, work from the inside. We'll start the mechanism and make a run for it.
I don't know. I think if we call the police...
By the time the police get here, we'll be dead. You think Philo will wait outside all night? Come on. That's an order.
Okay. But what about the recording of Otterburn's notes?
We'll leave that here in the safe in my office. They'll never get into that. Let's go. You buzz the elevator while I hide the recording. This is the basement. Come on. Keep to the side.
Yes, sir.
Shh. Let's try that delivery truck over there. I'll get in. All right, Henry. You start the mechanism to open the garage door, then jump onto the truck.
Yes, sir.
We'll make a dash for it.
Where can we go?
I have a farm outside Chevy Chase. It's private. Miles from the nearest neighbor and completely hidden by trees. We'll run for that. Go ahead. Start the door up.
All right.
Quick, jump in. There we go, Henry. Cross your fingers. We made it out all right. Anything doing?
There's a blue coupe behind us, Mr. Wade. It's easily following.
I'll cut up Pennsylvania Avenue. Now Route 1, toward Baltimore.
It is following. He turned with us. Can you go faster?
Not much faster.
Oh, he's gaining on us.
I've got an idea. Hang on, Henry.
Yes. Why'd you stop?
I'll turn off the lights. It worked. He shot right past us. Now we'll double back and go out another route.
Well, I don't see anything. I think we've lost him.
Good. I think everything's going to be all right now. We can be at my farm in less than an hour. Not much longer now. Is anyone behind us?
I thought I saw the blue coupe again, but I was mistaken. Whew. This place is really out in the wilderness.
We can stay here indefinitely till we'll figure out the next move. Just up this dirt road now. There's the house up ahead.
You're not going toward it.
No, I have a better idea. There's a big abandoned wheat silo on my grounds. It's down a hollow where it can't be seen except from the air. And even then, the oak trees shield it. We'll hide you out there. Now, we leave the truck here. It'll never be seen. Come on.
Yes. How did you ever find this place, Mr. Wade?
I've always liked seclusion. I bought it about 12 years ago. Come up here in the summertime to get away from it all. There's the silo.
It's certainly well hidden.
There's a small door around the side. Come on. Be careful of those bushes.
Yes.
It's hard to see them in the dark.
Do you suppose Philo will find us?
I assure you, Henry, Mr. Philo will never find us here. Not in a million years. Here's the door.
It's pitch dark.
Hold my arm. I know the way. Just a few steps up, and another door.
Steel. This is an unusual silos. Double wall, wood outside and steel inside.
Completely fireproof. An army couldn't wreck it. We're inside the inner shell. Careful.
Yes.
You're in a circular room. Stay here a moment. I'll go outside and see if the coast is clear. In a moment, your eyes will become accustomed to the darkness. I'll bring back some food and water.
Don't be long, Mr. Wade. This place gives me the willies.
Just a moment.
Mr. Wade. I swear I hear something. Mr. Wade. What's that? There is something. Good Lord. There's someone in here. It's locked. Oh, no. Mr. Wade! Mr. Wade, let me out! I'm not alone in here! Mr. Wade! This must be a light switch. Thank God. Oh, no. People. 10, 15, 20. Mr. Wade, out! Help!
It'll do you no good to shout, Henry.
Mr. Wade, where are you?
Outside. Speaking over the intercom.
Mr. Wade, there are people in here. 15 or 20 of them. They're sitting like statues, just staring at me.
They won't hurt you, Henry. What? They've all been drugged. They're even more helpless than you.
But who are they?
Permit me to introduce them, Henry, since they're currently unable to introduce themselves. The gentleman seated before you, the one with the scar, is Dr. Paul Ahrens, the astro-mathematician. Next to him is Mr. Robert Simons, electronic engineer.
Names on the list.
Yes, you're familiar with the rest. They've all been, shall we say, recruited for work with Professor Halsman's group on the moon.
Moon? Then you're one of them.
Of course. Oh, yes. There's one whose name was not on our list. If you'll turn around, Henry, you'll recognize the drugged form of your old friend, Mr. Philo.
Philo? But I thought...
That he was part of the conspiracy? No. On the contrary. His snooping made it necessary for us to include him.
Yes, but the man in the window, the one who fired the shot...
An agent of mine. The pilot of this ship.
Ship? What ship?
This silo is camouflaged for a rocket launching platform. In a moment, the roof will slide back for the rocket's takeoff.
A rocket ship?
In exactly 70 hours, you and your companions will join Professor Otterburn on the moon.
But you can't do this to me!
We have done it, Henry.
No!
You see, there was another name omitted in that list, which I carelessly mixed up with your papers. That of Henry Timken.
No!
Bon voyage.
I won't let you do this! You can't! Please, let me out! Let me out, please! This can't happen! Let me out! Let me out!
Attention. Missing since 8 o'clock last night, the following persons. Timken Henry, age 45, height 5 feet 8, 165 pounds, brown eyes, slightly balding, occupation records custodian. Repeat, Timken Henry, age 45, height 5 feet 8, 165 pounds.
In just a moment, a word about next week's adventure. Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you The Man in the Moon, an original radio drama written by George Lefferts. Featured in the cast were Louis Van Rooten as Henry, Santos Ortega as the Chief, Ross Martin as Charlie, Sidney Smith as Otterburn, Bob Haig as Jake, Joe DeSantis as Philo, and Ed Latimer as O'Brien. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production. And now, next week, the sign on the window said Perigi's Wonderful Dolls. A woman and a child waited outside. The little girl, peering eagerly through the window,
and the woman glancing impatiently at her wristwatch, as if expecting someone who was late for an appointment. And there was nothing about Parigi's doll shop to warn them that they were waiting to keep an appointment with doom at X -1.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. Stay tuned.
Countdown for blastoff. X -5, -4, -3, -2, X -1, fire! From the far horizons of the unknown come transcribed tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million could-be years on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company presents X -1. Tonight, X -1 presents Pirigi's Wonderful Dolls by George Lefferts.
Mommy, look.
What, dear?
In the window of the shop, the tiny dolls. Oh, Mommy, do you think Daddy'll buy me one?
We'll ask him when he comes, dear. Should be here soon. He said 3 o'clock on this corner.
I see him, Mommy. See?
Oh, Henry, over here.
Hello, dear. I'm sorry I'm late.
Well, we're all ready to go shopping. Cindy's been...
Yes, well, I'm afraid we'll have to call off the shopping element.
Oh, Henry, we promised Cindy.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's just one of those things. You've been the wife of an army colonel long enough to know his life isn't his own.
What is it this time?
Some more of that flying sphere nonsense. The pilot who says he sighted it last month crashed and was killed today, and the general wants a full report.
Oh, dear. What next?
Well, I got a staff meeting at the Pentagon at 3:15.
Daddy, look in this window.
I haven't time, dear. Alma, I...
Just for a minute, Daddy,
Now,
please.
Cindy, I haven't time to stop and watch a bunch of 6-inch dolls parading around in the shop window. Say, they are lifelike, aren't they? Look at that, Alma. Dolls are marching around like a regular review. They've even got their own little band.
See the one in the red jacket, Daddy?
Yeah.
He's the leader. He's bowing to us.
Well, they don't look human.
Henry, your staff meeting.
Oh, yes. Well, I got to run.
Can we buy one, Daddy?
Well, not now, dear, and I'll run along. Now, don't go spending a lot of money on that nonsense.
No,
Alma.
dear.
Bye. Bye, Cindy.
Bye, Daddy. Oh, look, Mommy, the band is going to play.
Aren't they wonderful, honey? Honey, I must have stood on this corner 1,000 times. I've never noticed this shop before.
Look at the man inside, Mommy. Who's he?
That's the proprietor, dear.
Doesn't he look funny with those red cheeks and white mustache?
It's easy to see who he models his dolls after.
Mommy, look. He's coming to the door. He's coming.
Good evening, children.
Good evening.
How funny he talks.
Hush, Cindy.
Would you like to step inside the shop of Santo Pirigi?
Well, yes, we would, but...
This way.
Mommy, it's like fairyland.
Here in the shop of Santo Pirigi, creator of Pirigi's universal wonderful dolls, the world of adult reality is blended with the world of child's fantasy.
This is a new shop, isn't it, Mr. Parigi?
What is new and what is old? Come, this way. Would you like to meet one of my little ones?
Oh, yes.
Now, this one in the red jacket is Toto. He's the leader. Handle him ever so gently. See, I will set him on the table. Speak, little one.
How do you do? How do you do? How do you do? Oh, Mommy, he talks. The doll talks.
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
That is nothing for Pirigi's wonderful dolls. Listen. Sing. Sing, Toto. Sing for the little girl.
My name is Toto.
Sing, Toto.
Men are big and tall. Dolls are very small. When men begin to fall, the dolls will rule them all. More.
How do they work, Mr. Parigi?
How do they work? That is the secret of the great Pirigi, greatest of all doll makers. To make an ordinary doll is nothing. To make a perfect replica, that is something. But to make a doll with intelligence, That is the work of an artist, eh?
I suppose that they're very expensive to buy.
Pirigi does not sell his dolls, madam.
You don't sell them?
When I construct a doll like Toto, I cannot bear to be permanently separated from him. So instead of selling, I rent my little people.
You do? You rent dolls?
Precisely. $10.
For how long?
For as long as they are cherished. My only request is that when you grow tired of my dolls, you return them to me in good condition.
Oh, Mommy, could we take him home?
Take him home. Take him home. Take him home.
Oh, look, he's bowing and dancing. He wants to
Well,
come.
honey, your father said that we shouldn't spend a lot of
Oh,
money.
please, I'll take such good care of it. Please.
Well, honey, we'll have to deal with your father later, but... Well...
Oh, Mommy.
All right. Wrap him up, Mr. Parigi. But I have a feeling that when your father comes home, we'll be sorry.
Be sorry. Be sorry. Be sorry. Be sorry.
Now, Toto, this is my room, and you're going to sleep right here next to my pillow. I wish you wouldn't laugh like that. I'm going to have to teach you some manners. And you be quiet because my daddy will be home soon. And he's a colonel in the Air Force staff. And he'll bust you to private if you don't behave. Come along now. I'm going to introduce you to my puppy dog, Mr. Blister, so be good. Here, Mr. Blister. Here, Blister. Come on. Mr. Blister, this is Toto. Dear, I don't think Mr. Blister likes you, Toto. Come over here and shake hands with Toto, Mr. Blister. Come on now. Mr. Blister! Let him go! Let him go! Let him go!
Kill him!
Cindy! Mr. Blister, come over here! Come over here! Cindy, what happened?
Mr. Blister tried to bite my doll. Look at how frightened he is.
Oh, honey, dolls don't get frightened.
But he was frightened, Mommy. He screamed.
You imagined it, dear. It's only a doll.
He did.
Well, Mr. Blister didn't mean it. Now, you know he's the gentlest little pup alive.
He is, and he's nasty, and I hate him.
Oh, now see, you've hurt his feelings.
I don't care. He tried to bite my new doll, and I don't ever want to see him again, ever.
Oh, dear. All right, Mr. Blister, you come downstairs with me. Cindy's angry with you tonight.
I'll kill him.
Cindy, where did you learn a thing like that?
Toto said it.
Honey, you've had a very exciting day. Now, brush your teeth now and go to bed, Daddy's coming home late, so he'll see you in the morning. Good night, dear. Sleep well.
Hate him.
Hate him. Hate him. Hate him. Hate him.
Morning, Alma. Breakfast ready?
In a minute, dear. How was the staff meeting last night?
Horrible bore as usual. I don't know what's got into the old man. Just because a few farmers corroborated the pilot's report, he thinks some strange aircraft has penetrated our radar zone. Well, where's the little one?
Up in her room.
Now, that's funny. She's usually down here before me.
Well, she's probably up to something. Sit down, dear.
Say, remind me to take some papers back to the War Department, will you? I left them in my strong box.
You haven't been bringing your reports home, have you?
Well, it's safe enough.
Well, you told me it was against regulations to bring secret papers home.
Well, I had to finish some work for the old man, and nobody will ever know the difference.
Well, I don't know. Oh, would you feed the puppy before we sit down, Henry?
Yes.
His bowl's under the sink.
Where is he? Say, that's funny. Here's his supper from last night, only half eaten.
He's getting fussy. Doesn't like canned dog food anymore.
Here, Blister. Here, Blister, Blister, Blister. I wonder where the dickens is that mutt?
Maybe he's on the back porch.
Here, Blister. Hey. Alma.
What is it, dear?
Alma, look.
Henry, is he...
He's dead.
But how?
From the looks of it, he might have been poisoned.
But who would do a thing like that to an innocent little puppy?
I don't know. Now, let me see his dish. Look at that. I don't understand this at all. Not at all.
What, dear? What is it?
There are pieces of broken glass in this food. Blue glass, you see?
How? Henry.
What?
I just remembered something.
What?
It may be coincidence, but in the bathroom this morning...
Well, what about the bathroom?
Cindy's blue glass, the one with the Mickey Mouse on it, was broken. I found pieces in the wastebasket. I meant to ask her about it.
Alma, for heaven's sake, you aren't suggesting that our little girl... Well, she loved Blister more than anyone.
Not last night, she didn't.
Why not?
He went after Toto.
Now, who is Toto?
That's her new doll.
Her what?
Honey, I was meaning to tell you.
Well, you bought her one of those dolls,
I just rented it.
Well, rented it. Now, look here, Alma. You know we haven't got the kind of money to throw away.
Well, she had her heart set on it, dear. I used my dividend.
All right. But what happened with Blister?
Well, he went for the doll, and Cindy said she hated him.
Well, a child...
She said she'd kill him.
Where'd she get a thought like that?
I don't know.
Has she been watching those chillers on television?
I don't know.
Well, it's too ridiculous. Good heavens, a 9-year-old child putting ground glass in dog food. She'd have to be a monster.
Mommy!
She's coming.
Well, don't say anything. I'll talk to her.
Morning, dear.
Morning, Mommy. Morning, Daddy. What's the matter?
Sit down, dear.
Yes, sir.
Now, your mother tells me you broke your blue drinking glass.
Oh, no, I didn't break it.
Cindy.
I didn't.
Well, now, somebody broke it. It wasn't your mother, and it wasn't me.
And it must have been Toto.
Cynthia.
Cindy, you know Toto is only a doll. Now, a doll couldn't have broken your glass, could he? Well?
I guess not.
So we can't very well blame it on a doll, then, can we?
But he must have done it, Daddy.
Cindy, you know how Daddy feels about little girls who tell fibs. Now, did you break your glass and maybe accidentally get some pieces into Mr. Blister's dish to sort of punish him for biting your doll?
No, Daddy.
Well, I'd hate to think you'd done something you knew was wrong and you were blaming it on a doll.
Is something wrong with Mr. Blister? Is he sick?
Worse than that.
Henry.
The child has to face reality, Alma.
What's the matter with Mr. Blister?
He's dead, Cindy.
Oh, no. We can't be dead. He isn't dead, Daddy. No, he isn't. He isn't. Mommy.
Honey, he is dead, Cindy.
But he'll come back. He has to come back.
No, darling, he won't come back.
Ever?
Not ever.
Yes. Well, now that we've told you, Cindy, do you want to change your mind about the glass?
Henry, leave her alone, please.
You think I killed him?
Now look what you've done. The child feels guilty enough,
My
Henry.
dear, this is no time for feelings to interfere.
You go up to your room, honey. Daddy and I'll be up in a minute.
I don't want to.
Please, Cindy. Now, we'll be right up, please. There. That's a good girl. Close the kitchen door behind you.
Mr. Blister's dead. He isn't coming back. Ever. Ever. Daddy thinks it was me, but it was you. It was you.
Eat your supper, dear.
I'm not hungry.
You scarcely touched your lunch.
I don't feel like eating.
Is it Mr. Blister?
Now, answer your mother.
She'll work it out her own way, Henry.
No, I don't know, Elma. When I was a boy, there was such a thing as discipline. Now, the way this child is being brought up...
Henry!
Well, it's true. There's no respect, lying, and...
Oh, there, honey. Now, your father's upset. He doesn't mean it.
What's happened to us? We were a nice, peaceful, happy family until you bought that cursed doll.
Now who's blaming things on the doll?
Well, it's true. Oh, now I've spilled my coffee.
I'll get you another cup.
Never mind. I'm late now. I better be going.
Oh, you wanted to get some papers from the strongbox.
Oh, yes.
Cindy, please, try to eat something.
Yes, ma'am.
Alma! Alma!
What is it?
Alma! It's gone.
What's gone?
The box, the strong box, is gone.
It can't be. The door to your study's always locked. You and I have the only keys.
I know all that, and I tell you it isn't there.
Well, who would go?
I don't know. Alma, those confidential reports, if they ever got into the wrong
I
hands...
warned you about keeping them there.
What if it ever came out in the open? Can't you see the papers?
Call the police, Henry.
And throw my army career in a wastebasket after 17 years? No. We've got to find it ourselves.
Well, it was there when I went in to clean this morning.
What about your key?
It's right here. I always keep it with me. It's funny.
Oh, no.
My other keys are on the ring.
Oh, you've lost it.
I don't see how.
Alma, how could you do
Oh,
it?
Henry, please.
We'll search the house. I can't think of anything else to do.
Well, you'll miss the staff meeting.
Meeting? My whole career goes up in smoke if we don't find those reports. Somebody got hold of your key and opened that room and... I know. Cindy.
You leave the child alone. She's been through enough. You know she wouldn't do a thing like that.
I don't know anything anymore. I don't even know my own child. I don't even know you. All I know is that strongbox is gone and it contains papers that are dynamite if the wrong person gets them. The question being who? What's that?
It's coming from upstairs. It must be Cindy's doll.
Oh, that blasted doll again.
Something must have set it off. I don't know how the mechanism works.
For heaven's sakes, let's go up and shut it off.
Toto, kill him. How do you do?
Stop it! Blasted little imp.
Henry.
Ever since you...
Henry.
What?
Look.
Where, what?
Around the doll's neck, the key. The key to your study.
You see, Alma, it was Cindy after all.
I don't believe it.
Well, good heavens, do you have to have it spelled out for you? Here's our doll with a key around its neck.
She wouldn't, Henry. You know she wouldn't.
Oh, ever since you got this fool doll, she's been acting half insane. At first the dog, and now this. I think she hates us, Alma.
Henry, Cindy is my child. I know her. I know she's a good, sensitive person with no malice in
You're
her.
simply refusing to face the facts, my dear.
What are you going to do?
I'm going downstairs and have a talk with that young lady. You're not telling the truth, Cindy.
I am.
Cindy, now you know that strongbox is very important to me. Now, I can understand that you might have been angry at me because I scolded you, and so you took it and hid it, just to spite me. Now, all I ask is for you to tell me the truth. Now, where is it?
I didn't take it, Daddy. Honest, I didn't take it.
Well, I suppose you're going to tell me now that a little 6-inch doll took it and hid it. Well, I'm speaking to you, young lady.
But I didn't take it, Daddy. You don't understand. Toto did it. He's terrible, awful. He says things. He's going to kill everybody.
Cindy, you're inventing things.
It's true. At night when I'm sleeping, he stands next to my pillow and whispers things to me. Awful things. He told me he'd kill me, too, if I
Alma.
if I told you.
I think this child is sick. I think she needs a doctor.
She's frightened, Henry. She's trembling like a leaf. Come on, dear. We'll go up to your room.
I don't want to go up there.
Honey, Mommy will stay with you.
I'm afraid he's up there.
Who?
Toto.
Well, he won't be up there for long. Mr. Toto is going right back to Pirigi's wonderful doll shop before I lose my sanity, which means right now.
Colonel Grayson, welcome to the home of Pirigi's wonderful doll.
Are you Pirigi?
Santor Pirigi, creator of the universal doll, the doll with a mind, the doll which...
I'm returning one of your masterpieces.
Oh? If you will step into the rear of my shop. Now the complaint?
No complaint. Here's your doll. Good riddance.
My little Toto. Rejected. You found the world of men too filled with hate.
Hate.
We will change all that later on. Return to your comrades in the window, little one. And now, Colonel Grayson.
I think we have no further business.
But we do, Colonel. Let me see. Yes, here it is. Do you recognize this strong box, Colonel?
My strongbox? Well, where?
My little Toto is very clever, sir.
Are you trying to tell me your doll stole that from me?
Let us not say stole. I am merely keeping it in custody.
What's the game, Pirigi?
The game, as you call it, is blackmail. You give me what I want, and I do not ruin your career.
What do you want?
Information. We already know something from the reports of the War Department concerning a certain strange-looking sphere reported by one of your pilots.
What government do you represent?
I represent Pirigi's wonderful dolls, none other.
I am not so naive, sir.
Perhaps I should explain. Each man hides something from the world. Each man loves something more than life. With the help of my wonderful dolls, I obtain personal information which enables me to control the men who control the world.
You're a madman.
A genius. You would be surprised at the list of men who have become the confidants for my dolls.
Do you think you can blackmail me into betraying my country?
If the price is right. And in this case, sir, the price is your career and the lives of your wife and child.
Why are you so interested in the flying sphere?
Let us say for reasons of my own. Well, Colonel?
Hand over the strongbox.
I warn you, I have a gun.
Give it to me.
You are being foolish. Put down that walking stick.
Now.
No closer.
Now. Hello? Give me the police. Hello? Yes, this is Colonel Henry Grayson. I've just killed a man. Yes, Perigi's doll shop, corner of 4th and Lexington. The body is in the back room. Yes, I'll wait for you. Shut up. Shut up, you little fiend.
Colonel Grayson.
Did I hear it speak?
Colonel Henry Grayson.
I must be going out of my mind, a 6-inch doll. Shut up! Your master's dead.
You are mistaken, Colonel. I, Toto, am the master.
What do you mean?
If you will examine the body of Santor Perigi, you will see that he does not bleed. And he does not bleed, Colonel, because Santor Perigi never lived.
Never lived?
Santor Perigi is a doll.
A doll? But that's impossible. He's a man. He talks. He walks.
The people of Meretrix are skillful doll builders.
People of Meretrix, doll. But look, who are you?
I am Xanthus Imperator, commander of the legions of the 3rd planetoid, Meretrix.
Legions? Planetoid?
My people and I, whom you regard as dolls, come from a tiny planet beyond the moon, so small that it cannot support our population. We landed one of our space spheres on Earth 3 months ago with the intention of colonizing. Unfortunately, one of your pilots intercepted us.
So that's why you wanted our information.
Precisely.
Are you human?
Oh, quite human. Of course, in order to deal with Earth people without suspicion, we were forced to construct Perigi, a man-sized doll.
Oh, well, I can't believe this. I'm having hallucinations. I'm going to get out of here.
Oh, that would be impossible. We have weapons of destruction quite unknown to Earth people.
Well, I phoned the police, and they'll be here soon.
By the time they arrive, my people will have prepared something quite shocking.
Cover him, Ryan.
Okay, Sarge.
You the guy who turned in the call?
Yes.
Where's the body?
Well, it isn't exactly a body.
What do you mean?
It's a doll.
A what?
Well, you've got to let me explain. Now, this sounds fantastic, but I've stumbled onto an unbelievable plot to control the world.
Keep talking.
Now, these little dolls, they aren't really dolls. They're tiny people. There's a big doll named Santo Perigi, and he runs this shop.
Holy smokes.
He's off his trolley, Sarge.
Listen, mister, we got a call that there was a murder here. Now, if there was one, where's the body?
Behind those curtains in the back. Only it isn't really a body, you see.
What?
I hear something back there, Sarge.
All right, cover those curtains. You! Is anyone back there? Come on out. Come out or we'll come in and get you.
Something's coming. The curtain's opening.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Perigi? Well, this is impossible. I smashed his skull.
You know this guy?
Yes, that's the one. That's the doll.
What's your name, mister?
Perigi. Santo Perigi, creator of the Universal Doll.
You ever see this man?
Never until just now.
What? Well, he's lying. I tell you, he's nothing but a life-size doll. The real masters are these little dolls.
Ryan, are you getting this?
He's wacko, Sarge. Nutty as a fruitcake.
Look, I'm not crazy, I tell you. I can prove it. They must have fixed up his head when I smashed it in. Touch him, you'll see.
Mr. Parigi, you know what the guy is talking about?
The man is demented, obviously.
Look, I tell you, there's a plot to control the Earth. Listen, you've got to let me call the War Department. They'll want to know about the flying sphere.
Holy mackerel, this gets worse every minute. Ryan.
Take him to headquarters?
Save some time. Take him down to the psycho ward.
Okay, Buck Rogers. Come along nice and quiet.
Look, you've got to listen to me. Don't you see the future of mankind is at stake?
Sure. I know how it is.
Look, he's nothing but a man-sized doll. Touch him.
And the little ones are going to take over the Earth. I know. I had the DTs once. Okay, Sarge. We'll see you later.
Please.
Come along.
Please,
now.
listen
Come
to
on.
me. You've got to listen to me.
Sorry to cause all this trouble, Mr. Parigi.
Not at all, sir. Not at all.
Well, I'll be. Well, that ain't the cutest little doll. Say, my little girl will be nuts for that.
So perhaps you will accept it as a gift?
Well, now,
For saving my life. That madman might have killed me. No home is really complete without one of Pirigi's wonderful dolls, Sergeant. Is that right, Toto?
Yes, but I
would like in some way to show my gratitude. You will be doing me a favor if you will take the doll home to your little daughter.
Say, this ought to make her the happiest girl in the world.
Yes, Toto will come as a great surprise. A very great surprise. Won't it, Toto?
Tonight, by transcription, X-1 has brought you Pirigi's Wonderful Dolls, written by George Lefferts. Heard in the cast were Janet Alexander as Cindy, Ann Petoniak as Alma, Nelson Armstead as Henry, Joe DeSantis as Pirigi, Michael O'Day as Toto, Ken Lynch as the Sergeant, and Frank Milano as Ryan. This is Fred Collins speaking. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Tonight's story concludes the present series of stories of the world of the future. If you'd like to hear X-1 return to the air at some later date, please drop us a postcard or letter addressed to X-1, care of the National Broadcasting Company, RCA Building, New York.
Our next broadcast was produced for syndication in 1949 at WMGM New York. It was based on a popular series of movies in the late 1930s and early 1940s and brought to the microphone the stars of the series, Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Ayres plays the young, idealistic doctor, and Barrymore, ever in character, was the crusty, lovable diagnostician. The men worked at Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine, a clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on. We present to you Dr. Kildare on HOJO Radio.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
Whatsoever house I enter, there will I go for the benefit of the sick. Whatsoever things I see or hear concerning the life of men, I will keep silence thereof, counting such things to be held as sacred trusts. I will exercise my art solely.
The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought you those famous motion pictures. Now this exciting, heartwarming series is heard on radio. In just a moment, the story of Dr. Kildare. But first, your announcer. The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Shall Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine. A clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, nerve center of medical progress, where great minds and skilled hands wage man's everlasting battle against death and disease. Blair General Hospital, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on.
You know, this is the best time of the whole day, Jimmy. 10 o'clock in the evening. The everyday business of the hospital's all wound up. The night's crises haven't occurred yet. There's no time like it.
One thing's certain, it's the only time of day that a doctor gets much chance to relax around here. I've been on the run since 7 o'clock this morning.
Kind of peace and quiet settles down over the hospital. The symphonic stillness of the night. And the only sound against the silence is the far-off hum of the traffic in the streets.
Excuse me, Dr. Gillespie, but I just thought I'd come...
Parker, you idiot.
Well...
You bull in that china shop.
Oh!
Oh, don't just stand there. You've interrupted a highly poetic reverie of mine. Now what do you want?
Well, I merely wanted to see if you needed me for anything else this evening.
Parker, I have never needed you. It's only from the goodness of my heart that I even tolerate you.
Well, I guess I earn whatever I make around here.
I have often hoped that someday you would. But I suppose it's practically impossible to overcome a natural incompetence.
Incompetence?
Go on now, get out.
Incompetence? After all I've done for you.
Good night, Papa.
Oh.
Good night.
After I've given the best years of my life, why, of all the insulting, incompetence.
You know, one of these days you'll get her mad enough to walk out on you, and then what?
She'll never quit, Jimmy. Being insulted is the only emotional life that woman has. It's good for her. It keeps her endocrine glands working. And she loves it. Let's see now, where was I?
Well, you'd gotten somewhere between the symphonic stillness of the night and the far-off hum of traffic, but now, if you'll excuse me, I think I'll get between 7 and 8 hours sleep. Good night, Dr. Gillespie.
Hello there.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Gillespie.
Look what I found on my desk this morning.
Let's see. Leonard Gillespie, M.D., Blair General Hospital, New York City, New York, period. My dear sir...
never mind that stuff. Get to what it says.
If you think I am incompetent, and if you think I have not earned my salary around here, and if you want a more efficient nurse, then that is the last straw, Dr. Gillespie, and I quit. Signed, Evangeline Parker, R.N. I never knew Parker's first name was Evangeline.
What difference does it make what her first name was? Jimmy, she has mutinied, walked out, deserted me. She's quit.
So it seems. Well, I'm surprised she didn't do it years ago.
Confound the woman anyway. After all I've done for her.
Shouted at her 14 hours a day.
I've always treated her with consideration and kindness.
Worked her until she was ready to drop.
Made allowances for all her faults and mistakes.
Insulted her every time she opened her mouth.
Stood by her through trials and tribulations.
And now?
Jimmy, do you think I should apologize to her?
I do.
Confound it. I suppose you're right. I guess I was a little rough on her last night. Well, I'll get her on the phone and talk her into it. Oh, come in, Carew. Come in.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Dr. Carew.
Dr. Gillespie, I must say that I'm extremely shocked to learn of this unfortunate contretemps which has occurred in our happy little hospital family. I've just received a copy of Miss Parker's resignation, the original of which was, I assume, delivered to you.
Carew, your assumption could hardly be any more correct.
Yes. Well, I'm quite sure you plan to take the necessary steps immediately to rectify the misunderstanding.
I was contemplating some procedure of that sort.
Good. Then I'll leave it to you and run along now. All of us lose our heads under pressure at times, Dr. Gillespie, so I can readily understand how you could be guilty of such a mistake.
What, Dr. Carew?
It would be most unfortunate, though, if your unrestrained temper should be the cause of our losing an excellent nurse.
By the great horn spoon.
Dr. Carew, you should have quit while you were ahead.
Are you implying that I am unable to diagnose a case without Evangeline Parker standing by?
Oh, now, not that at all. I'm sure you could get along somehow, but nonetheless, I think...
Hello? Miss Parker, formerly a nurse here, without consulting me in the matter at all, has offered her resignation, and by the confounded tarnation, I accept it.
Oh, dear.
Good morning, Mr. Dockley.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Kildare. And, well, Gillespie, finally condescending to drop in on me, are you?
That's right, Jonathan. How do you feel?
Terrible. Man could die here for all the attention he gets.
Go on. You'll live another 50 years yet.
Small credit to you if I do. And another thing. I want to know who assigned this new nurse. I don't like her at all. I want Miss Parker.
Well, I'm afraid that won't be possible, Mr. Dockley.
Why not?
Well, 3 days ago, Miss Parker left our employment.
Gillespie, you fired her.
I did no such thing. She quit.
Then you drove her away with that infernal temper of yours.
Temper? Why, confound it, I never lose my temper.
You're losing it right now. You're just a cantankerous old buzzard, same as I am. Never did understand how a sweet young girl like Miss Parker could put up with you.
Jonathan, if Parker is a sweet young girl, then I am a mere stripling with down-covered cheeks.
Never mind your downy cheeks. You get Miss Parker back here. She's a fine woman, fine nurse, reliable, capable.
Would you say competent, Mr. Dockley?
Competent?
Yes, that's it exactly. She has a melodious voice and a great sense of humor.
She has a voice like a foghorn full of gravel. And she's not only got no sense of humor, but she hasn't got any sense at all. And furthermore, she's not... Jonathan, take those covers off your head and listen to me.
Oh, I'm just sick about it, Dr. Kildare. After all the years they worked together, it's such a shame this had to happen.
Yes, it is too bad.
Leonard Gillespie simply ought to have his head examined.
Oh, I think he's as sorry and upset about it as Parker is, Molly, only he's too stubborn to admit it. Especially since Dr. Carew had to poke his nose in and bungle things.
Well, it's the same with Parker. She knew she'd made a mistake, but now her pride's mixed up in it, and she can't back down. If he'd just make some halfway apology, she's dying to come back.
And if the truth were known, Molly, he's lost without her. They're both acting like school children.
Well, I certainly wish something could be done about it. In all the years I've been supervisor here, I've never had a better nurse than Parker on the staff.
Molly, what time did Parker say she was coming in to visit you?
In about half an hour.
Have her drop into my office, will you?
All right, Dr. Kildare. Do you have anything in mind?
No, except... Well, I thought that maybe if they can be brought together without either one of them having to give in and take the first step, well, things might straighten out.
Are you sure, Dr. Kildare? Did he really say that?
Well, he said it by implication, Parker. He's been completely lost these few days you've been away. Irritable, downcast, blaming himself, I suppose.
Well, I shouldn't have taken what he said so seriously, I guess. Of course, he really didn't mean it.
Why, of course not. You know how he is.
Well, I just don't know what I'd do away from this hospital, Dr. Kildare, but naturally I wouldn't stay on any place where I wasn't wanted.
Well, you don't have any worries on that score, Parker. I heard him discussing you with one of the patients just this morning.
Discussing me? What did he say about me?
I can't remember the exact words, but he did mention your voice and your sense of humor.
Oh, he's really awfully nice when you come right down to it. I don't know why I...
Oh, come in, Dr. Gillespie.
Kildare, Molly Bird said you wanted to see me about something highly important. But... Oh, good morning, Miss Parker.
Good morning, Dr. Gillespie.
You're feeling well, I suppose?
Oh, yes, thank you. I hope you're feeling well.
Oh, yes, quite well, Miss Parker.
That's good.
Yes, it is.
Well...
Like old times, isn't it, Dr. Gillespie? I mean, having Parker back with us.
Well, yes, it is. Oh, are you coming back to work, Miss Parker?
Well, I would like to work for someone who respects my ability.
Why, Well, all of us here have the greatest respect for your ability.
Then you don't think I'm incompetent?
Incompetent? Oh, I never heard anything so ridiculous.
But you said you thought...
I said no such thing as other nonsense.
Then you really do want me back?
Of course I want you back. Now, let's stop all this fiddle-faddle about it.
Here, Parker, let me take your coat.
I'm behind 4 days on the reports, and there are 2 case histories I can't even find.
Oh, well, I know where they are, Dr. Gillespie. Now, just let me get this hat off and...
Good morning, gentlemen.
Oh, come in, Carl, come in.
Dr. Gillespie, I've just been glancing over there. Why, Miss Parker.
Good morning, Dr. Carew. Isn't it wonderful? I'm back at work.
Well, Dr. Gillespie, I congratulate you for following my instructions and apologizing to Miss Parker.
Following your instructions? Carew, I haven't apologized to anybody.
Why, you did too, Dr. Gillespie. You said that
Parker, shut up.
What?
Dr. Carew, if you'll come with me, there's something I've been wanting to ask you.
In just one moment, Dr. Kildare. First, I must get this little matter straightened out.
Oh, it's already straightened out, isn't it, Parker?
Well, not if Dr. Gillespie didn't really mean what he said. If he wasn't apologizing. If he was just...
I was not apologizing. And don't stand there blithering like an idiot.
Well, that does it. Finally, absolutely, and for the last time, I quit.
Come back here, Parker, you nincompoop.
Oh, horrible man.
Oh, dear, dear, dear.
We will return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment. We continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Good morning, Dr. Gillespie.
Oh, come in, Kildare, come in. I'll be through here in a second. Oh, have you met Miss, what's your name?
Miss Ebertson, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Yes, you were in the orthopedic section, weren't you?
That is correct, Dr. Kildare. I was transferred here this morning at 9:23.
She's taking Parker, Miss
Ebertson.
Ebertson, yes. You have all the information on those sheets now? Suppose you fill out the rest of the reports, and then I'll check them over and sign them.
I'm sorry, Doctor, but I believe the handbook states that diagnostic reports shall be made out only by the physician.
Well, I merely want you to transfer the data from the sheets, and I intend to check the reports before they're filed.
I believe the handbook is quite specific in the matter.
Oh, confound it, Parker, always...
It is now 11:31, so if there is nothing else, Doctor, I'll finish recording those daily charts. I expect to complete them at 1:07, at which time I presume you'll have additional work planned.
Well, that's quite an efficient nurse you've acquired, Doctor.
Efficient, Jimmy. She's a human handbook, topped off with a bundle of rules and a stopwatch.
Not much like the good old days when Parker was here.
And she'd still be here if she wasn't so bullheaded.
Well, I've got to run along. Better start planning some more work, though. You have to face that fireball in the arena again at 1:07.
I've known Leonard Gillespie for a good many years, Dr. Kildare. And I'm telling you, when he gets on one of his stubborn streaks, nothing can move him.
I know, Molly. Gillespie, the greatest diagnostician in the world today, and yet here he is acting like a spoiled child.
If only Carew hadn't butted in. He always brings out the contrariness in Leonard. Why, as far back as I can remember...
Wait a second. That might be an idea.
I'm afraid I don't see it.
Well, something has to be done. Gillespie's upset, his work's suffering, Parker's unhappy, and the longer it goes on, the less chance of working it out.
So?
So I think I'll go up and have a talk with Dr. Carew.
Well, I must say, I'm afraid I really don't understand you, Dr. Kildare. Precisely why are you congratulating me?
Oh, you're being far too modest, Dr. Carew. Of course, I realize you weren't looking for personal credit, that your only concern was to increase the efficiency of Dr. Gillespie's work, but nonetheless, your handling of the matter was very effective.
Oh, I see. And just how much of my little plan have you been able to penetrate, Dr. Kildare?
Well, you must have decided on the plan as soon as you realized that Miss Parker was no longer an efficient nurse.
She wasn't?
But you also realized that Dr. Gillespie would probably balk at any direct attempt to replace Parker with someone more efficient.
Yes. Yes, he certainly would, all right.
So you skillfully maneuvered Gillespie into thinking he wanted her replaced. And that left the field clear for Miss Ebbetson.
My.
Oh, I know Miss Ebbetson was supposedly assigned by Molly Bird, but it's easy enough to see through that.
Really? Yes, indeed. How clever of you, Dr. Kildare. Of course, I didn't want any credit for it.
Naturally. In a way, though, it's too bad Dr. Gillespie gives all the credit for the assignment to Molly Bird. Doesn't know you were really the one behind it.
Then he's satisfied with the change?
Oh.
I mean, he does realize that I was only considering his interests in the matter?
Oh, I think he's already quite aware of Miss Ebbetson's efficiency.
Well, I might just drop him a little hint. We can't hide all our light under a bushel, you know.
That's right.
Dr. Kildare, this is really amazing. Your guesses were so close to the actual details of my little scheme that it's really quite frightening.
Confound it, Jimmy. You've been sitting there staring at me for 5 minutes now. Go say something.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Gillespie. I guess I was thinking about poor old Parker.
No doubt blaming me for the whole business.
Oh, no. No, it's just one of those things, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, what about poor old Parker?
I was wondering if there wasn't some way we could help her. Financially, I mean.
Oh, she must have money. She's bound to.
I don't know. Of course, she did work very, very hard around here for so many years. She never was paid very much.
Well, she'll have a choice of a dozen jobs better than this one.
She hasn't so far. I understand she isn't working yet.
Well, confound it isn't my fault. The old battle axe had any understanding at all, but she hasn't. I can't help it if she wants to act like a stubborn idiot.
No, I suppose not. It is too bad, though. Because there's a possibility, of course, that you may have been used by somebody. You know, taken in.
What?
Look, suppose Dr. Carew decided he wanted Parker replaced by a more efficient nurse. Now, if he were really smart, wouldn't he go about it by pretending just the opposite, by provoking you into getting rid of Parker?
By the great horns. Well, of course he would. And that's exactly what he did, too.
Well, I don't really know that's what happened. It was only an idea.
Jimmy, I thought right along there was something behind this. I knew somebody was to blame for it. What that conniving, underhanded little pipsqueak.
Well, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Why, Dr. Carew, we were just talking about you.
About me? Oh, dear, nothing I shouldn't hear, I hope.
Well, to be more exact, we were talking about the replacement of Miss Parker with this new nurse.
Oh, yes, indeed. And has Miss Ebbetson proved herself to be efficient, Dr. Gillespie?
Obnoxiously so.
Ah? What a delightful way to put it.
She is probably the most efficient nurse I've ever been given the opportunity to work with.
Yes, it would seem that Molly Bird made an excellent selection.
Ah, me, such is life. So it's Molly Bird who's getting all the credit in this little affair.
And is somebody else responsible, Carew?
Well, since you've about to ferret me out, I suppose I may as well make a little confession.
Good. Then I won't have to use torture.
It wasn't Molly Bird at all. I'm the one who planned the whole thing.
Carew,
Yes, Dr. Gillespie?
You phony, fat-headed, imbecilic little popinjay.
Police?
How many times have I told you never to interfere in my department?
But I thought you were... I
Butting in here and firing the best nurse I ever had.
I fired her.
I ought to walk out of this hospital and stay out of it.
But
Kildare, phone Parker and have her get over here right away. She's as much a victim of this schemer as I am.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear, 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 dear.
Well, it's too bad, Dr. Carew, but that's the way things go sometimes. The best laid plans of mice and men, you know. I still think it was a clever idea.
Well, there's the whole story, Miss Parker. Neither you nor I were to blame at all. We were merely victimized by the underhanded machinations of a sly scoundrel.
Can you imagine it, Dr. Gillespie? Why, I've never heard of such a two-faced scheme before in my life.
Yes, it does seem a little odd, all right.
Yeah, odd. Why, that's the way Carew's mind works, Jimmy. If you can call it a mind. I suspected something right from the start. But I had to go along with it, you know, give him enough rope. Naturally, I was forced to say a few things that I didn't mean.
Oh, of course, I understand.
Well, Parker, since everything seems to be settled, you may as well dig up a uniform and get back on the payroll.
Oh,
huh?
well, I wore one under my coat. I just knew things would turn out all right.
Yes. Well, it would never have happened in the first place if Carew hadn't started it, Miss Parker.
Oh, I know. He's such a horrible man.
Yes.
Well, as long as things are back to normal, I'd better get some of my own work done, so...
Dr. Gillespie?
Oh, no.
I would just like to add one thing to what I said earlier.
Dr. Carew, I was just coming to look for you.
Oh, all right, Kildare, but wait, first
How fortunate you were looking for me at the same time.
But I wasn't. Really now, Dr. Kildare.
Watch the door now. Ah, there we are.
This is most irregular, Dr. Kildare.
Yes, I know it is, but I wanted to remind you of something.
Oh? Of what?
Last year, over $1 million in donations came into this hospital as a direct result of Dr. Gillespie's great reputation.
Ah, yes, quite so.
I wasn't sure what you might be going to bring up in there, so... Well, to a man of your intellect, Dr. Carew, need I say anything more?
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. Once again, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Well, good morning, Dr. Kildare.
Oh, hello, Molly. Heading the same way I am?
I'm going down here to Gillespie's office, if that's...
So am I. Let's go.
Well, I suppose things have settled back to normal now between him and Parker.
Not so sure. Getting along all right together, but on such a politely formal basis that it's like walking on eggs.
Oh, no.
Sure. They spend half their time exchanging compliments. He's still calling her Miss Parker. On that sort of a basis, one wrong word from Carew could blow the whole thing sky high again.
Yeah. Isn't much like the rough and tumble setup they've always had before.
Yeah, maybe things... here we are.
Well, confounded Parker, don't just stand there like an idiot.
Well...
Wait a second, Molly.
Even a moron would know better than to do a thing like that.
Well, I guess everybody makes mistakes sometimes.
Yeah, but you are the only human being I ever saw who managed to make them all the time.
Oh, horrible man.
Oh, well, Molly, I think we can stop worrying. Everything's going to work out all right.
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. This program was written by Les Crutchfield and directed by William P. Russo. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Supporting cast included Virginia Gregg, Eleanor Audley, Ted Osborne, Wilms Herbert, and Peggy Weber. Dick Joy speaking.
Thanks for listening to HOJO Radio. We have more classic radio coming your way next.
Story of Dr. Kildare.
Whatsoever house I enter, there will I go for the benefit of the sick. Whatsoever things I see or hear concerning the life of men, I will keep silence thereon, counting such things to be held as sacred trusts. I will exercise my art solely for the cure.
The story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer brought you those famous motion pictures. Now this exciting, heartwarming series is heard on radio. In just a moment, the story of Dr. Kildare. But first, your announcer. And now, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Blair General Hospital, one of the great citadels of American medicine. A clump of gray-white buildings planted deep in the heart of New York, the nerve center of medical progress, where great minds and skilled hands wage man's everlasting battle against death and disease. Blair General Hospital, where life begins, where life ends, where life goes on.
Dr. Kildare, there's a Mr. Brennan here to see you.
Brennan? I don't
He
recall
says
any.
he's from your hometown. He's a boy, about 20 years old.
Oh, sure, Dick Brennan. Lives on a farm up there with his grandparents. Send him in, Parker.
All right, Dr. Kildare. Just go right in, Mr. Brennan.
Thanks. Dick, well, talk about surprises.
How are you, Dr. Kildare?
You know, I couldn't even place your name for a moment.
Well, it's been quite a while, all right. 3 years or so.
Have a seat, Dick. How's everything up in Dartford?
Okay, I guess. I've been down here for a couple of months.
Oh?
Dr. Kildare, I'm in a jam.
Jam?
Yeah, about 2 hours ago, I stole $5,000.
Well, maybe you'd better tell me about it.
I got fed up with the farm, Dr. Kildare, so I came down here to look for a job. I didn't find one, and I ran out of money a few days ago. Had to give up my room this morning.
So?
Yesterday I phoned up Kessel and Conrad, they're importers. They had a help wanted ad in the paper. And this Mr. Kessel told me on the phone to come in at 10 o'clock this morning, so that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little shop down south of Wall Street. There wasn't anybody in the front, so I walked back to the office, and that was empty, too.
Oh, then what?
You see, this safe was there, standing wide open, and the money was in plain sight. I didn't even stop to think. I took it and walked out. That's all.
That's all? Well, what else could you have done besides set the building on fire?
I don't know why I did it. I'm sorry, Dr. Kildare, but I didn't know who else to come to.
Dick, your granddad built me the first bobsled I ever had. He used to coast down that hill below the dam, remember?
Sure.
If he found out about this, it'd kill him.
You can't find out. Something's got to be done about it.
Well, I'm not sure anything can be done. It depends entirely on the shop owner.
But Dr. Kildare, I'm in a spot. You're the only one I can turn to. Isn't
Dick,
there
all right. I'll see what I can do.
Now,
Kildare, there's no reason why you have to go out somewhere right this minute. I want to talk over these charts with you.
Well, this won't take long, Dr. Gillespie. I ought to be back here within an hour.
Well, what is it that's so confounded important it can't wait 20 minutes?
Oh, it's just a business matter. Nothing really important, you know, but I guess I'd better get it over with.
Jimmy, what are you up to?
Up to? Why, nothing at all. Oh, hello, Parker.
I got that Brennan boy put to bed down in 417, Dr. Kildare.
Oh, you did.
But I'll need a little more information on the case, though, before I can fill out
What Brennan boy is this, Kildare?
Just a kid from back home. He came in a while ago.
What's wrong with him?
Well, he's sent it for observation.
Observation? Confound it. What do you think's wrong with him?
Well, it's complicated, Dr. Gillespie. I'll discuss the whole thing with you when I get back.
Yeah, now, wait a sec.
This won't take very long.
Parker, he's up to something.
Oh, well, now, I wouldn't say that's true, necessarily.
You didn't say it. I did. You wouldn't have sense enough to realize it.
Well,
never mind now, Parker. Shut up and see if you can find my hat.
Let's see. Castle and Conrad, importers. This should be it.
I'm sorry, mister. The shop's closed for the afternoon.
Oh, yes, I know, officer. But...
Well, Dr. Kildare, say, I haven't seen you since you took that slug out of Dan Cassidy. How have you been?
I'm fine, Captain Daggett. Are you in charge of this case?
Yeah, that's right. How did you know about it? Hasn't hit the papers yet.
Because I've brought the money back.
What?
Here you are. $5,000.
I see. $5,000, huh? What about the kid? Is he with you?
Kid? What kid?
Kid that stole it. Kessel gave me a pretty good description of him. Around 19 to 20, 160 pounds, light brown hair, gray suit, blue tie. Am I close?
I guess maybe I'd better have a talk with the owner.
Yeah, I think maybe you better. Especially since it's $50,000 it's missing.
$50,000?
Oh, Mr. Kessel, could you step out here a minute, please?
Yeah.
Neither one of the old boys trusts the banks, do most of their business in cash. Kessel's the partner the kid stuck up.
Now, wait a minute.
Was I correct, Captain Daggett, in believing I heard you call me?
Yes, that's right, Mr. Kessel. Mr. Kessel, this is Dr. Kildare from Blair Hospital.
How do you do that?
How are you, sir?
Kildare's a first-class doctor, but he's got a bad habit of sticking his neck out for people. He brought back $5,000 of your money.
$5,000? May I inquire as to the whereabouts of the rest of it, Dr. Kildare?
Well, yes, you may inquire, but I'm afraid I can't tell you at the moment.
Mr. Kessel, I wonder if you'd tell Dr. Kildare briefly just what happened here this morning.
Again?
If you don't mind.
Well, my partner, Benjamin Conrad, went down the street for coffee about 10 o'clock. A few minutes later, this boy came in and walked back towards the office. As I came out to meet him, I saw he had a gun in his hand.
A gun?
He made me open the safe and then forced me into a closet and shut the door. It has a snap lock, you know, and can't be opened from the inside.
And you were locked in for about 20 minutes. Is that right, Mr. Kessel?
Yes. Why, I might have suffocated in my heart, you know, and high blood pressure, as well as a thyroid condition. Oh, good heavens, I almost forgot. You'll have to excuse me, gentlemen. I should have taken one of my capsules 5 minutes ago.
Well, that's about it, Doctor. When Conrad got back and let him out, $50,000 was gone from the safe.
Well, that's not quite the way I heard it.
Yeah, so I gathered. Well, I guess you'd better tell me where I can pick the kid up, huh?
Captain Daggett, I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. Not until I talk with him again.
Oh, now, look here, right?
Well, Dr. Gillespie.
What is this, a medical convention?
How are you, Daggett? Kildare. Well, I just happened to be passing by and saw you in here, so...
You mean you followed me from the hospital?
Oh, ridiculous. I did no such thing. What have I walked into?
Well, I think the beginning of an argument.
This shop was held up at 10 o'clock this morning, Dr. Gillespie. Kildare is apparently trying to hide out the boy who did it.
Hey, that right, Kildare?
More or less. Seem to be two conflicting stories here. I want some more facts before I turn anybody over to the police.
I suppose you let us take care of the facts, Doctor. That's our job.
Only you've decided the case is solved. I'm not so sure.
Why not, Jimmy?
Because I simply can't believe that boy was lying, that's all.
It's not your business to decide whether he's lying or not, Doctor.
Sorry, Captain Daggett.
Oh, I give up.
Well, what seems to be the next move?
And I don't have any choice about it. If Kildare sticks to this bullheadedness, I'll have to book him on his own admission as a material witness.
Oh, nonsense. He's not going to abscond with the loot.
No, but this kid that pulled the stick up might.
I'll stand good for him.
I'm afraid it isn't that simple.
But I'm afraid it is. Come on, Jimmy. Let's get back to hospital.
Okay.
Hey, now, wait a minute.
Now, if you lock up Kildare, you'll have to lock me up, too.
You know I can't do that. The commissioner's a personal friend of yours. He'd blow his top.
And you can reach either of us at Blair Hospital, Daggett.
So help me, if that kid gets away because of this, I'll run you both in.
Thanks for the rescue.
Hometown boy. Couldn't possibly be lying. Jimmy, why in the tarnation do you want to go out on a limb for a kid like that without even knowing whether he's guilty or not?
I don't know. Why did you?
Well, confound it. Come on. I got a taxi down here waiting with the meter running.
But I am telling the truth, Dr. Gillespie. I swear I am. Dr. Kildare, you just gotta believe me.
All right, Dick, take it easy. I don't know, Dr. Gillespie.
Well, whichever story you take it doesn't make much sense.
It happened just like I said. I didn't change one single thing.
If Kessel's telling the truth, Dick would have to be crazy to come here with $5,000 and ask me to try to straighten things out.
I don't know how he got my description or any of the rest of it, but I didn't do what he says. I swear I didn't.
Oh, there you are.
Well, Nosy, what do you want?
I just wanted to tell you that Dr. Carew's been looking all over the hospital for you, too.
What does that nincompoop have on his half-baked mind?
I don't know. He's bought all the evening papers, and he's just simply furious.
Oh, well, if he's only furious, let him work on it a while. When he really gets upset, he starts foaming at the gardenias.
When I think of it, I get so ragingly angry that I could just...
All right, Carew, go ahead and just get it over with.
A whole hour and a half simply worrying myself into a breakdown while you two sit across the street at Sullivan's Grill eating a steak.
Well, it was a thick steak, Dr. Carew.
And all these headlines staring me in the face. I tell you, it means ruin for Blair Hospital. Utter ruin.
Oh, now, I think it's rather good publicity.
Good. Look at this one. Staff doctor at Blair Hospital involved in hold-up case. Do you see what they say? Involved.
Dr. Gillespie, that's a bad photograph. It isn't my best profile.
Well, how many profiles you got?
Gentle, please. This is anything but humorous.
You're absolutely right, Carew. A picture like that, it's a downright insult.
Maybe I ought to get a lawyer and sue somebody.
I have already contacted our legal department, though heaven only knows what they can possibly do. Dr. Kildare, how could you manage to create such a scandal?
Well, it was something like a snowball. It started very small.
Yeah. With a grandfather who built sleds.
Sleds? I fail to see what sleds have to do with this.
Dr. Kildare, that boy, that Brennan boy, he just up and left here without a word to anybody.
What?
Just put on his clothes and walked out and left a note for you.
Note? What did it say, Parker?
That he doesn't want to cause any more trouble, so he's... Well, how should I know what it says? It wasn't addressed to me.
Well, that's a great way not to cause any more trouble.
That boy you're talking about, why, that must be the criminal. And he was right here in the hospital.
Now, Carew, keep your vest on and your powder dry.
Oh, dear heaven, now the fat's on fire.
Crazy young fool. Why couldn't he wait? I'll get it. Kildare speaking.
Captain Daggett, Precinct Headquarters. Well, Kildare, I suppose you know the papers got hold of this somehow.
Yes, I saw some of the headlines, Captain Daggett.
Yeah, well, they're putting the heat on us, so we gotta have that kid.
Oh? When?
The commissioner says 9 o'clock in the morning. I'll meet you over there at the hospital.
But, Captain Daggett, you see how...
9 a.m., Doctor.
Well, that's that. Daggett'll be here at 9 in the morning to take young Brennan into custody.
But how can he take him? I mean, if the boy is... Oh, dear, dear, dear. For 30 cents, I could cut my throat.
You can get more.
Oh, dear.
You know, Dr. Gillespie, it might be a good idea if we went across to Sullivan's and had another steak. I understand the food at the city jail is not too good.
We return to the story of Dr. Kildare in just a moment. Now we continue with the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Personally, I think both of you should just stop worrying about it. My intuition tells me that everything will turn out for the best.
Pollyanna Parker has spoken.
Nevertheless, Dr. Gillespie, rely on a woman's intuition and you can't go wrong.
But you can go to jail.
Oh, pooh. Something's bound to turn up.
Yes, and that something is Captain Daggett at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And when we tell him his prisoner has walked out, handcuffed.
Look for the silver lining, Dr. Kildare. Look for the silver lining.
Parker, I've enjoyed very few pleasures in my frugal and ascetic life. Would you like to do something for me to make me excruciatingly happy?
Why, of course, Dr. Gillespie. Just anything you say.
All right, then, shut up and get out of here.
Oh!
And take that disgusting optimism along with you, little sunbeam.
Wretched man!
There's one thing in this whole mess that I'm convinced of. Mr. Kessel is lying about what happened. This was some kind of a frame-up, and young Brennan played right into it.
Well, it could be.
Either the two partners are in it together, or Kessel planned it as a way of stealing Conrad's half of the company's funds. That could be why he asked Dick to come in at 10 o'clock this morning, at a time when he'd be fairly certain his partner would be out for coffee. He counted on $5,000 in an apparently empty store being a great enough temptation.
Well, if that was the scheme, Jimmy, it certainly was a good one. I can't see any way to shake it.
Not unless Kessel could be forced to tell the truth. I wish I could give him a shot of sodium amytal and then ask him a few questions.
Truth serum, not a chance, Jimmy. You'd have to get his permission in the first place, and he'd never give it.
Not if he knew it, but there might be a chance. He worries about his health, thinks he has a half a dozen things wrong with him. Now, if he could only be made to believe that...
Yeah, I'm way ahead of you, especially in regard to the ethics involved.
If it kept Dick Brennan from being framed into prison, I think the end would justify the means.
And if it didn't work? Well, what am I worrying about? I got nothing to lose but my professional reputation. Go to it, Jimmy. Let's have a real Roman holiday.
Well, yes, certainly you may come in, Dr. Kildare, but...
Thank you, Mr. Kessel.
I must say, though, that I'm mildly amazed at this...
This intrusion? Yes, I can understand that. Mind if we sit down here?
Well, I hardly see what...
That's right.
Now, look, Dr. Kildare, I'm afraid
Mr. Kessel, have you ever considered the possibility that you might be a very sick man?
What?
I realize you must feel a certain amount of ill will because of my interference this afternoon, but I hope you can forget that for a moment and consider my visit a professional one, if you will.
Dr. Kildare, what did you mean by saying that I'm a sick man?
I didn't say you were. I said you might be.
But...
when was the last time you had a complete physical checkup?
Why, it's been years.
I thought so.
It's my heart, I know. It's my heart.
Mr. Kessel, please don't excite yourself.
Oh, yes, you're right. That's very bad for it. I've been expecting it for years. I've taken pills to strengthen it.
The worst thing you could have done. A person should never try to diagnose and treat his own case.
Oh, I know. I realize that.
You can handle your own money if you like, but you shouldn't try to handle your own health.
Tell me, Doctor, is it too late?
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
There must be symptoms, I suppose, that you noticed this afternoon. Just how bad is it?
I'm sorry, but I never venture a diagnosis in a serious case without making first a thorough examination. Now, if you'd care to have Dr. Gillespie and me check you over...
Yes, I would. I'll make all the necessary arrangements this week.
This week? Mr. Kessel, I don't want to frighten you, but I have known cases to end disastrously from putting off treatment too long.
You mean it's as serious as that?
I can only urge you most strongly to report to us at Blair Hospital no later than 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
All right, Dr. Kildare. I'll be there.
Good. And now, don't worry about it.
Once we get the facts, we can decide on the type of treatment that's necessary. And with your cooperation, I'm sure we can find out all we need to know.
I warned you, both of you. But no, you wouldn't listen to me. And now you're in it good.
Take it easy, Dag.
Oh, I'll take it easy, all right. Commissioner or no commissioner, there are going to be some heads fall over this, and I don't mean mine.
Kildare? I think he's referring to us.
Then you think exactly right.
Oh, dear, dear. I just knew it was going to mean ruin, utter ruin.
Have another aspirin, Carew.
Thank you.
Now, come on, Daggett. Let's settle down and put this gown on. With a little luck, we may get this mess straightened out.
I'll have no part of this. I'm leaving right now, and I want it clearly understood that I am not involved.
You guys are really asking for it. You weren't satisfied with just letting a criminal escape. Now you've tricked Kessel in here, and you got him doped up with something. Exactly how far do you plan to go?
Far enough to get the truth out of him.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Kessel came here this morning of his own free will and asked for a physical examination. We're going to give him one, that's all.
Sure, with this truth serum or whatever it is.
Well, that's only a popular idea, Captain Daggett. Sodium amytal may deaden the inhibitory functions of the mind to some extent, but mainly it relaxes the patient, makes him drowsy and lazy. And under those conditions, if the questioning is properly handled, he may find it easier to tell the truth than to make up a lie.
Well, as long as you're dead set on doing it, maybe I'd better go in and keep an eye on you. How do I know you're not planning to cut Kessel's throat?
Pulse rate 64. Make a note of that, Doctor. Dr. Smith.
Yeah, let's turn back this sheet now.
How do you feel, Mr. Kessel?
All right, I suppose. Yes, I feel all right.
Good. Now, just lie back there and relax. Nothing to worry about.
No, nothing to worry about.
Would you hand me that stethoscope, Miss Parker?
Oh, of course, Dr. Gillespie. Here you are.
Yeah, thank you. Now, breathe deeply. You ever notice any difficulty in your breathing, Mr. Kessel?
No, none at all.
I see. Well, what about business and financial difficulty?
No difficulty.
Some of these questions may sound strange, Mr. Kessel, but I'm sure you understand how important they are in solving your problem.
Oh, yes, I understand.
Good. Now, do you feel any pain when I press here?
No pain.
Here?
No.
Was this where the gun was pressed against your side?
No, it wasn't there.
Oh, that's right, I forgot. There really wasn't any gun, was there?
No, there wasn't any gun.
And what about headaches, Mr. Kessel? Are you bothered a great deal by them?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I thought you told us you had a terrific headache right after you took the money.
Oh, no, I felt fine.
Well, that helps a lot. Make a note of that, Dr. Smith.
Maybe the headache occurred after you disposed of the money, Mr. Kessel.
No, I mailed it in the box in front of the store, and I still felt fine. But
Now, don't worry about a thing. We're coming along fine. There's a definite hypertensoid, but it's not a serious one at all.
Oh, really?
Now, just a few questions more, and I think we'll have our finger on the right answer.
All right, anything.
Before we can plan any kind of treatment, we absolutely must know where you sent the money.
Oh, it was to an assumed name, Jonathan Bidwell, General Delivery, Times Square Station.
And it's still there?
Yes, it's still there.
Good. You got that down, Dr. Smith?
Kildare, you know, aside from everything else, this man has a perfect heart. Been listening to it with a stethoscope.
Why did you ask about... I shouldn't...
Now, relax, Mr. Kessel. We're going to put you to bed now and let you sleep for a while. And by the time you wake up, I think we'll have a cure. All worked out.
Yeah.
In just a moment, we will return to the story of Dr. Kildare. And now, once again, the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres as Dr. Kildare and Lionel Barrymore as Dr. Gillespie.
Well, Jimmy, one might say that we've had a busy and eventful day.
And it included getting out of a fairly tough spot, you know.
Yeah. I wonder if Kessel ever realized just how the police located that package of money.
10 to 1, he has no memory at all of our questioning him. As far as he knows, we made a routine examination and... Come in.
Hello, Dr. Kildare.
Well, Dick, I've been hoping you'd come back.
I just saw a newspaper saying how Mr. Kessel's the one who's guilty. Is that true?
Yes, it's true. Of course, you did steal $5,000, Dick.
Yeah, I know. I ought to have my head examined.
No, but you ought to learn to use it a little better.
Dr. Kildare, if I do get out, I'm going to go straight back home to the farm.
Good idea, Dick. Now go to bed and get some sleep. We'll talk the whole thing over in the morning.
All right.
And take the same room you had. Only this time, don't run away.
I won't. Thanks.
Good night, Dick.
You know, Jimmy, he seems to be a pretty good kid after all.
Oh, sure. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
He's lucky, too, in a way. This lesson he learned came out a lot cheaper than it might have.
Well, it's all due to having a grandfather who builds good sleds.
Forget that.
No. It worries me, Jimmy. I'm wondering how many other people may have built sleds for you.
You have just heard the story of Dr. Kildare, starring Lou Ayres and Lionel Barrymore. This program was written by Les Crutchfield and directed by William P. Russo. Original music was composed and conducted by Walter Schumann. Supporting cast included Virginia Gregg, Ted Osborne, Bill Conrad, Bill Tracy, and Herb Butterfield. Dick Joy speaking.
Our next broadcast is a radio mystery drama which ran from May 16th, 1942 until September 27th, 1955 on CBS Radio Network. The show was also broadcast in Chicago and over Armed Forces Radio. On the West Coast, it was sponsored by the Signal Oil Company. That whistle is your signal for the Signal Oil program. The program was also adapted into a film noir series by Columbia Pictures in 1944. Each episode began with the sound of footsteps and a person whistling. The haunting signature theme tune was composed by Wilbert Hatch and featured Dorothy Roberts whistling with an orchestra. We present to you The Whistler on HOJO Radio.
I, the whistler, know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales, many secrets hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak. And so I tell you the amazing story of House of Greed. A taxicab rolls through the night and comes to a stop before a brownstone mansion on West 52nd Street. The driver opens the door, and a handsome, well-dressed man steps out, pays the driver, slips quickly up the stairs, fumbles with a bunch of keys, but the door opens.
Oh, hello, Jackson.
Mr. Talbot, welcome home, sir.
Where's Mrs. Talbot?
Oh, she left 3 days ago. Went to the place in the Catskills. There's a note on your desk, sir.
Oh, good.
Your brother, Frank, is waiting in the library.
Oh. Hello, Frank. What do you want?
John.
Now, look, Frank, I told you the last time I'd give you no more money.
Oh, but it isn't gambling debts this time. I'm reforming. I'm going to settle down and work.
Work?
I met a big cattleman from South America. He has a very lovely daughter. And she talked her father into letting me buy an interest in the business.
How much?
$10,000. Oh, I'm sure I'll make good, John.
Oh, very well. I don't mind doing something like that for you. When are you leaving?
Tomorrow. I've had a plane reservation for 4 days. Thanks for the check, John. You're a swell guy. Tell Mary goodbye for me.
Yeah, she's up in the Catskills.
Yeah, so Jackson told me.
Good Lord.
What's wrong?
She hasn't gone to the Catskills. I can't understand this. What on earth does she mean?
Well, what is it?
Read it.
John, this life is too lonely. I can't go on like this, so I'm leaving you. I found someone else who is more considerate of me. First, I'm going home, and from there, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but things just didn't work out for us. Mary.
Someone who's more considerate of her? Why, I have given Mary everything her heart desired. She must be out of her mind.
Of course, you have been gone a lot, and women get crazy ideas.
It's knocked the pins right out from under me.
Yes, I can see that. You better take it easy for a while.
Yes, I feel, I don't know, kind of sick. All of a sudden, nothing seems to matter.
Well, maybe she'll wake up before she gets too far. Perhaps I'd better cancel my trip for a few weeks until you get straightened out.
No, never mind. I'll pull myself together. I wouldn't have you sidetrack your plans for the world. I think you'd better go now, Frank. I'd rather be alone.
All right. But don't do anything foolish.
What do you mean?
Well, if you brood about it, you're liable to get some crazy ideas and end up really holding the sack.
Good luck, Frank. Lots of luck.
Thanks. Goodbye, John.
John sits for the remainder of the night staring over the top of his desk. The next morning he closes the house and starts on Mary's trail, which takes him to London, Paris, Berlin, all over Europe, but to no avail. Finally he drops his active interest in his business and goes to live in his country estate. Then one day, 14 years later, he finds himself on a honeymoon. He has married a widow named Helga.
Well, John, dear, we got away without too much trouble.
Well, it does seem a bit silly, rice and honeymoons at our age.
Our age? Well, you sound as though we're a couple of old grannies. I'm 36 and you're 45, and I certainly don't feel old.
Why, of course you're not, Helga.
Oh, dear. John, now that the wedding's over, there's something I haven't told you.
Oh, now
I haven't said anything because I was afraid it might make a difference.
I know what it is. You have a son.
How did you know?
I wondered when you were going to mention it.
Oh, well, he finishes school this year. It's been quite a struggle putting him through college, but he's very bright. Paul has studied hard and managed to cram 2 years into one. Could he spend the summer with us?
Why, of course.
Oh, John, you're a darling.
I should be able to find a place for him in the business. Oh, ask him to come down to our place in the country.
Oh, thanks, John. You're wonderful.
So Helga's son, Paul, came to spend the summer at the country place. And he stayed the next winter, and the following summer, and the next winter. Now it is summer again, and Paul is still visiting his mother and stepfather. The first year, he worked in the office every day until noon, and found business very boring. So finally, he quit going to the city at all.
But, Mother, I've looked the whole thing over, and there's nothing there that interests me.
Well, you could learn about the business. You seem to be able to learn anything else you want to.
But I don't care for business.
Oh, you're a fool. I worked my knuckles to the bone to give you an education. I married John Talbot to give you a chance to do something. John has no children. It's a huge business. And one day you could control the whole thing. I'm disappointed in you, Paul. You're letting me down.
Well, it seems to run very well without too much attention from him. If we were to inherit it, why wouldn't it continue to run just as well?
You either get down to that office or you pack your things and get out.
Why should I? I'm perfectly satisfied.
I'll tell John to make you go.
And suppose I tell him what you just said? That you married him just to give me a chance? Married him for his money?
You wouldn't dare.
And suppose I tell him that you were never divorced from Father? That he's still down in South America, still wandering around trying to find a gold mine?
If you dare open your mouth, I'll...
Hello there. How are you, Helga? What's this I heard about South America?
Oh, why, nothing, darling. Paul was just talking about someone he met from down there.
Who do you know from South America, Paul?
Oh, fellow, I met him today.
Were you in the city today?
No, I was down the village.
I didn't suppose you'd been out of the house today. What's his name?
Why, I don't remember.
I didn't think you would. You haven't been out of this house for 3 days. Paul, I think you're the laziest man I've ever met.
All right. I'll start back to the office Monday. If that's what you and Mother want me to do, I'll do it.
I'm sorry I wasn't here for dinner, Helga. I was detained in town. So I have quite a bit of work to do. I'll be here in the library for 2 or 3 hours.
Very well, John. I won't bother you. I'll go on upstairs. Besides, I want to have a little talk with Paul. Good night, dear.
Good night, Helga. What on earth? Who's out there? Why? What do you want out there?
May I come in? I want to talk with you.
Well, why do you come to the library windows? Why didn't you ring the bell?
I didn't want to cause a disturbance.
Disturbance? What do you mean?
May I come in?
Yes, come ahead.
Don't you know me, John?
Good Lord. Mary.
I'm sorry, John. I had to talk with you. I saw the light in the library.
What do you want?
Or I need your help.
Where have you been all these years?
Oh, every place. Are you still filled with resentment?
It's been too long ago. At first I was. I followed you all over Europe, but never quite caught up with you. Now I'm glad I didn't. No telling what I might have done.
I'm sorry, John. I was a fool, and I know that now. May I sit down?
Why, of course. Are you cold?
Yes, I can't seem to shake it. I've had it for weeks.
See, I hate to mention it, but you look a bit shabby, Mary. Aren't you doing well?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm doing all right.
Are you?
You've married again.
Yes.
And your wife is here?
Yes.
Then I'll be as brief as possible. I wouldn't want her to know that I was here.
You want me to help your husband?
No, not that. I have no husband.
What about the man you said was more considerate of you?
He left me 4 years after the baby was born.
Baby? You have a child?
Yes, John. She's 17 now.
And where's the man?
I don't know, and I don't care. Oh, John, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I should have known better. But he practically carried me off my feet. And I learned later, to my sorrow, he was not worth shooting.
Where's your daughter?
She's in a school in Vermont. I've worked hard to give her an education. I've done everything I could do to give her a chance. I've not seen her very often. But now, well, I'm sort of cracking up. I've been out a lot. And I seem to have trouble getting a job.
Job? What kind of a job?
Why, any kind of a job.
What have you been working at, ma'am?
Oh, John, I've made such a miserable mess of it. I was never able to fix things. I always took the line of least resistance.
What a shame.
And now I've come to the end of my rope. Joan has finished school. She's a lovely girl, John. I can't let her know. I can't take her with me.
Why not?
She deserves so much more. She deserves a chance in life. I want you to do something for her.
Why should I?
Because she's your daughter, John.
Yeah. My daughter?
Yes, yours and mine. She was born 7 months after I left. Here's the birth certificate. Please, John, do something for her. She shouldn't be made to suffer for my mistake. She's innocent.
Oh, does she know I'm her father?
No. And she doesn't remember the other man. Here, I'll give you her address. Fernwood College. And I'll write a letter to her explaining all about you.
Well,
Oh, John, you could do so much for her. She's a young lady now. And so lovely. Please see her. I know you'll fall in love with her.
All right, Mary, I'll see her. I'll have her come down here.
Oh, John, I'm so sorry. So sorry for everything I've done. Please forgive me.
I've forgotten everything, Mary. Oh, wait a moment. Take this check and do something about that cough.
No, thanks, John. I won't need it.
You better take it.
Thanks. I'll be all right in a few days. The cough will be gone. Good night, John.
Good night, Mary.
If he brings this girl here, do you realize what it means, Mother?
Yes?
It's his own daughter. If he falls for her, if he likes her, he'll change his will and split the estate.
She's entitled to it, isn't she?
Now, why should she be? Strange girl he didn't even know existed. Popped up out of nowhere and cheats us out of half the estate.
I know what you mean.
We've been here for several years. You're his wife. It isn't fair.
What would you do about it, Paul?
I'd see that she didn't get anything.
How would that be possible?
Suppose she didn't like it here. Supposing that before John got attached to her, the things happened that would make her dislike everything here. If she runs away soon enough, he won't change his will.
Perhaps you're right. And if she doesn't?
Then maybe something could happen to John. And later, something could happen to the girl. But in any event, the will must not be changed.
Where do you get such ideas?
That, Joan, dear, is the story of your mother. I trailed them all over Europe, but never quite caught up with them.
You mean you planned to kill them?
Kill them? I was filled with revenge, but I finally gave up the chase and returned here to wait. I knew that sooner or later she'd show up.
But it's been so long ago. Surely you've lost the desire for revenge by this time.
Time heals many wounds, my dear.
If you had caught up with them and satisfied your revenge, what good would it have done?
Quite right, my dear, quite right. Tell me, have you no recollection of this man? You can recall nothing about him?
Absolutely nothing. Remember, I was only 4 when he went away.
And you do believe that I'm your father?
What else am I to believe? Mother proved that with the birth certificate. Proved that I'm Joan Talbot, not Joan Evans, as I've always believed.
Of course. And would you like to remain here?
Why, yes, I think I would,
Well,
but
there seems to be a doubt. Why do you hesitate?
I don't know. From all the evidence, I belong here. I have a legal right, but... Well, I can't seem to find words to express it.
Express what?
From the moment I stepped in the door of this house, I've had a strange feeling. A cold, chilly sensation of fear.
Well, is it something you feel about me?
Yes.
You're afraid of me.
No, I don't think so.
Is it Helga?
Well...
Is it Paul?
Oh, please don't ask me anymore. I don't know what it is.
Well, what has Paul said to you?
Nothing. No one said anything. It's just a premonition of evil. There's something wrong. Something horribly wrong in this house.
Oh, you're imagining things, Joan. It's all in your mind. It will pass as suddenly as it came. You're young, Joan, impressionable, and you've suddenly found your life turned upside down. A new environment to which you've never become accustomed, but you'll get used to it. You're my daughter. And I want you to have what you deserve, what is rightfully yours.
I understand. And I'll try to overcome this feeling.
Yeah, that's better. You're a lovely girl, Joan. An intelligent girl. I know I'm going to be very proud of you.
Thank you. I think I'll go to bed now.
Well, it is rather late. Good night, dear. See you in the morning.
Hello?
Paul, what are you doing here on the stairs in the dark?
I wanted to tell you something.
What?
You're very, very beautiful. Your eyes, your hair, just like gold. Golden beams. And soft.
Paul!
And your throat. Your throat is slender. Is soft.
Take your hands off my neck. Paul!
I don't know many girls. Girls don't like me.
Let me by.
You don't like me either, do you?
Well,
I know. I can tell. Elsie didn't like me either. She was afraid of me.
Who's Elsie?
She was a girl in the village. She worked here in the summertime. No one knows what became of her.
What?
I don't remember what happened to her. But her throat was slender and white, like yours.
Let me by.
Joan.
What? Who's here? Who's in this room?
Don't turn on the light.
Helga. What do you want?
I must talk to you.
What about?
You're not safe here. No one is safe in this house. You must leave at once.
What do you mean? What's wrong?
The house is wrong. It's filled with evil and hate. I know.
Why do you stay?
I can't leave. It's too late. But you must go at once.
Do you mean that Paul?
That's part of it.
And what else?
John.
John? What about him?
I can't tell you. But you must believe me.
What about my father?
He doesn't believe he is your father. And he's planning to get revenge on your mother through you.
I don't believe you. I won't.
Get away while you have a chance.
No. I won't run from it. I'll face it whatever it is.
Very well. Good night, Joe.
at his desk in the library. But outside, a man steps softly through the trees, up on the terrace, quietly opens the library doors, and steps in.
Hello, John.
Frank. Good Lord.
Yes, Brother Frank. Well, why don't you say something? Come in, or get out, or something.
Why, come in, Frank. You fairly knocked me off my feet. I didn't know whether you were alive or dead.
It's been a long time, John.
Why haven't you written me?
Well, I was hoping I could make a go of that ranch and pay you back, but I guess I was just born unlucky.
Oh.
They had a revolution and cleaned Senor Gonzalez out and me with him.
That's too bad, Frank.
But you're still the same steady, reliable John. Yes, sir, I've tried my darndest to be like you, but, well, it just isn't in me. I don't have what it takes. The last 2 years, I've had a pretty tough time. I caught some sort of a malarial fever down there, and it's impossible to get rid of it. Keeps recurring.
You certainly don't look well. You've aged quite a bit. You better have Dr. Richards look you over tomorrow.
She's still kicking around? I thought he'd be gone long ago. How's your new marriage turned out?
Oh, very well. Very well indeed.
Good. Ever hear from Mary?
Yes. She came to see me. I knew she would eventually. She was broke and quite ill. She'd had a tough time of it.
And you helped her out. You would. You couldn't turn anyone down.
Well, she was mainly interested in my helping the girl. She had her in a school in Vermont.
And so now you're taking care of both of them.
What else could I do?
Good old John.
I sent for the girl and brought her down here. She's a lovely child. Sweet as can be.
And you'll give her everything her heart desires, I suppose. And then you'll have another problem on your hands with Joan. A girl 17 either wants to get married or go to college.
Oh? Well, I've decided that.
Really?
I'd like to send her to Wellesley.
Good. Isn't every man who can have...
Just a minute, Frank. I'll be right back. Well, what are you doing out here in the hall this time of night, Paul?
Oh, well, Mother sent me down to see why you hadn't come up to your room.
Oh. Well, tell her I'll be up in a few minutes.
Yes, I'll tell her.
My stepson, Paul. His mother thought I was staying up unusually late.
Oh, well, I'll run along. Good heavens, it's after 12. When's the last train back to the city?
12 o'clock. You've missed it.
Well, when's the next one?
5 a.m.
Oh. Well, I suppose I'll have to wait for that. Can you put me up?
Yes, of course, Frank.
Oh, thanks.
Well, wait a moment, Frank. I probably won't be up when you leave, so I'll give you this now.
Oh, now, John, I didn't come here for that. Well, that is not exactly.
No, you never have. Here you are, Frank. 1,000. And see Doc Richards first thing in the morning. And drop in at the office and let me know what he says.
Thanks, John. I'm sorry that I have to take this. I only wish that...
Oh, forget it. We're not kids any longer. You're too old to learn new tricks now. Run along to bed, Frank. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, take the guest room at the head of the stair.
Good night, John. See you in town at noon.
Night, Frank.
The clock strikes 3 as 2 figures slip down the darkened hall and quietly enter John's bedroom. Then a few minutes later, the same 2 figures make their way in the moonlight through the trees to the back of the estate, carrying a long, gruesome bundle wrapped in a sheet. Now it is 3 nights later, and Joan, Helga, and Paul are in the library as Joan paces back and forth anxiously.
But where could Father have gone? He didn't say a word about going out of town.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to come back.
Why not?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like it here.
You should have listened to me.
But you didn't say anything about... Well, you just mentioned me.
Could it be a mistake? I just had a weird feeling of impending disaster.
Something is wrong, I know.
If I didn't belong here, if I could leave, I'd not stay another moment. Who knows what will happen next?
I know.
What do you know?
I know what'll happen next.
They always happen in twos.
Many people have come here, stayed a while, and then suddenly disappeared.
What time is it?
11:30.
There's a train at 12. I'm leaving here. Hello? Yes, this is Joan Talbot. What? Good heavens, who? Where? Yes. Yes, I understand. Yes, I'll be here. Yes.
Who was it?
I don't know. I've never heard anything like it.
What do you mean?
There's a man, and
What man?
he said he had a message for us. And he'll be here at 12 o'clock and to wait for him in the library.
The police?
I don't know. He said he'll come to the garden windows, to the library window.
Who could it be?
I don't know. But we'll wait. I'm going to see this through.
Here he comes. Through the garden.
Who is it, Mother?
I don't know.
The lights. Why did you turn out the lights?
I turned them out so we could see outside. Who is he?
I don't know. He's up on the terrace.
Who are you? What do you want?
I came to talk to you.
What about?
About what happened here at 3 o'clock in the morning several days ago.
Nothing happened. Nothing.
But something did happen.
Turn on the lights.
No, don't turn them on. You couldn't see me if you turned on the lights.
Oh, good Lord. Was it you who phoned me?
I spoke to you, but I didn't phone you.
Mother.
What happened in this house at 3 o'clock several days ago?
A man was murdered.
What?
Paul, turn on the lights. Turn on the lights!
Joan Talbot, open the top drawer of that dress. Now take out the paper. It says, on the night of August 5th, we, the undersigned, murdered John Talbot in his bedroom and buried his body on the estate.
We didn't. We didn't.
It's John. It's John.
Sign it. Sign the paper and I'll go.
Sign it, Paul. Sign it. You did it. You killed him. Sign it.
You help me. You sign it.
I can't.
Turn on the lights, Joan.
John.
It's him. It's him. He isn't dead.
No, Paul.
We didn't. Paul, what happened?
I'll tell you. You killed my brother Frank instead. Come on in, Sergeant. You heard it all.
Yes, we heard it all.
Father, what on earth happened? When you phoned a while ago, I almost fainted. I was sure you were dead.
I knew from the moment you told me you were frightened in this house that something was wrong. I put two and two together and realized what it was. They didn't want you to share in the estate. I knew they were planning something on that night. And then my brother came. He accidentally got into my room by mistake, and they killed him instead of me. I saw them carrying his body through the trees. So I disappeared for a few days and evolved this plan. You've nothing to worry about any longer, Joan. Nothing.
No. Nothing to worry about. But the truth would certainly amaze you. All that Hilda said about Paul and John was true. John was planning revenge, but not through Joan. That night your brother Frank came back. You discovered something, John. What was it Frank said?
And then you'll have another problem on your hands with Joan. A girl 17 either wants to get married or go to college.
It was then, John, you knew the truth. The only way that Frank could have possibly known that the girl's name was Joan and that she was 17 was to have been with Mary. So John knew then that it was Frank who ran away with Mary and deserted her when Joan was 4 years old. And then, John, knowing that Hilda and Paul planned to kill him, deliberately let Frank occupy his room on that fateful night. John's revenge was satisfied, and he didn't have to turn a hand. That's all.
CBS has presented The Whistler. And now an important announcement regarding a change of time. Beginning 1 week from tomorrow night, on Sunday, September 13th, The Whistler will come to you at 9:15 p.m. Remember, Sunday, September 13th, at 9:15 p.m. Original music for this production was composed and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. The Whistler is written and directed by J. Donald Wilson and originates from Columbia Square in Hollywood. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. More classic old-time radio coming your way next.
Wait a minute. Have you heard the weird tales of the Whistler?
I'm the Whistler.
There's something wrong. Terribly wrong. I'm going to wait a few more days, and when I'm sure, I'm going to take care of you, Joe.
Well, what do you mean?
I'm going to kill you.
Sunday night, and again CBS presents The Whistler.
I, the Whistler, know many things, for I walk by night. I know many strange tales, many secrets hidden in the hearts of men and women who have stepped into the shadows. I know the nameless terrors of which they dare not speak. And so tonight I tell you the bewildering story of Mirage. Fred Adams is an attorney, a promising young attorney. Fred is a specialist, for his practice has been limited to nightclubs and bars. In other words, Fred is what is called a mouthpiece. He steps gaily down the street tonight, unaware of the two men leaning against the black sedan parked in the shadows between the lampposts.
Hi, Fred. What's your hurry?
Huh? Oh, hello, Joe. What are you and Mike doing in this end of town?
We're waiting for you, Fred. Thought you might like to take a little ride.
Got a gun.
Get in.
Okay.
15 minutes later, Fred makes his way through the crowded tables of the Swank Tripoli Cafe toward a door marked manager. He hesitates a moment, glances at the two men beside him, and knocks. Across the room, a beautiful woman sits behind the desk, toying with a long cigarette holder.
Come in, Freddie. Come in.
Well, we got him, boss. And where do you think he was? Over on Park Avenue.
How fancy. Wait outside, Joe. I want to talk to Freddie. Alone.
Yeah.
Sit down, Fred.
Well, what's wrong? You in trouble again, Gloria?
Would it matter to you if I were in trouble?
Of course it would.
Where have you been the past week?
Has it been a week since I saw you last?
You know it has. And a week is too long to suit me, Freddie.
Well, you know my phone number. If anything had happened, you'd have found me.
Doesn't make me very happy to think I have to go out looking for you. Kind of lets me down.
Oh, for the love of Pete. What happened?
Nothing's happened here at the cafe.
Oh, what's the matter then?
It's you, Fred. It's what you've done.
I haven't done anything.
Why do you think I paid your way through law school?
Well, because you wanted to. And because you needed a lawyer around.
Is that all?
I don't know.
I thought we were together in this thing for keeps.
Well, yeah. I'm still your attorney. What else do you expect of me?
You have the nerve to sit there and say that. You know how I feel about you. You've always known.
We've always been pals, good friends.
Pals? Friends? Oh, Freddie.
Now, what are you trying to say?
I knew for the past 3 weeks that you were changed. Couldn't figure it out. But I found out this afternoon. Here it is in the paper. District Attorney's daughter to wed young lawyer.
Well, what about it?
Are you really in love with her, Fred?
Certainly. Why shouldn't I be?
I don't think you are. I knew you were campaigning for the DA in this last election. I know you're ambitious. I think you've got your eyes on a job in the DA's office, more than you have on the girl.
I tell you, I love Brenda Gibson, and you can think whatever you like.
Is she pretty?
Very pretty. Young.
I don't like the way you said that, Fred. I'm not so old.
I didn't mean it that way. You're a very beautiful woman, Gloria.
Am I?
But, well, I don't know what it is. You've done everything in the world for me. No one could ask for more. And I've always cared more for you than any woman I've ever known. Until now. But there's something about Brenda. That, well, she's so different.
Go on.
I hate to say this to you, but I've got to make you understand. Brenda's intelligent. She comes from a fine family. She has culture.
And I came up from the chorus.
Now, Gloria, I didn't expect you to take it this way.
Well, how did you expect me to take her?
I didn't think you were really in love with me. It never occurred to me that you had any ideas about marriage.
What do you think I am, a totem pole?
I looked at our association more as a business arrangement. You financed me through school, and when I got up in the money, I'd pay you back.
Oh, Fred, don't say any more.
I know I've been blunt, but how else can I tell you? What else can I say?
There's nothing you can say, but I'll tell you something. You're getting out of your element. You don't belong there. You belong here with me. And if you marry her, you'll live to regret the day you met her.
Now, look. Don't be like that. Don't be a hard loser.
You'd be better off dead.
You don't mean that, Gloria?
No. No, Fred, I didn't mean that. Oh, darling, please go before I say any more. I know I haven't a chance, but please go.
I'm sorry, Gloria. Terribly sorry.
Bye, Fred.
I'll be seeing you. Goodbye, Gloria.
Now, a week later, the papers are filled with stories and pictures of Fred and Brenda and the district attorney, and parties and dinners and teas. Read them, Gloria. Pore over them. Mr. and Mrs. Frederick Adams this and Mr. and Mrs. Frederick Adams that. Read them, Gloria. Read them and weep. Meanwhile, on a train to Miami.
And Fred, darling, after we spend a few days in Miami, we can fly over to Nassau. Father has a place there, and I know some wonderful people. We can have a great time. Fred?
Oh, what did you say?
Snap out of it, darling. We're on our honeymoon.
Yes, Brenda, I'm sorry. I know we're going to have a swell time.
My sister Nella's spending the summer at Nassau.
Why didn't Nella come home for the wedding? She was to be your bridesmaid.
I told you, dear, you can't always get transportation just when you want it these days.
After all, Nella's your only sister. She could have made an extra effort.
What are you thinking about?
Oh, business.
Business? What business?
I was thinking about my new job. How did your father happen to make a place for me in the DA's office?
I suppose he thinks you're a capable young attorney.
Did you ask him to appoint me?
Well, I may have had something to do with it. I wanted you to start out right. You don't mind, do you?
Certainly not. What's swell of you? I only hope I can make good.
You will. And who knows, maybe you'll be the district attorney yourself someday.
I hope so. At least I'll break my neck trying.
Oh, let's forget about everything for the next 2 weeks, but
I love you so very much, Brenda.
Darling, I'll spend all my waking moments trying to make you happy.
Thanks, dear.
You'll never regret the day you met me.
What did you say?
I said you'd never regret the day you met me.
Oh. I should say I won't. Not a chance in a million.
Now the happy honeymoon is over, and Fred and Brenda are back home. Fred is in the district attorney's office and progressing nicely. But Gloria, poor Gloria, still sits in her office at the Tripoli and broods over her fate. She scans every item in the society columns, searching for news about Fred and Brenda. And every item, every picture nurtures her resentment. And her resentment slowly turns to hate. And finally something snaps in her mind and she begins to harbor thoughts of revenge. Yes, revenge.
Joe! Joe!
Yeah? What are you yelling about, Gloria?
I wasn't yelling. Close the door.
Sure sounded like yelling to me.
I said I wasn't yelling.
Okay, I apologize.
No, sit down.
Oh, look, Gloria, what's eating you? Why don't you get out of this office? Go out and visit with the customers the way you used to.
Why should I?
Well, they all miss you. They're all asking, where's Gloria? I run out of excuses.
I didn't call you in here to talk about the business.
Well, maybe not, but I thought it was time I said something.
Where's the evening paper?
I didn't get it.
Why not?
Oh, look, Gloria, snap out of it, will you? Why don't you quit hunting for news about Fred? You're only driving yourself nutty. Fred was a nice guy, but he's gone. He's married. Forget him.
I can't.
Well, you could try.
Not as easy as that.
After all, he ain't the only man walking around. There's one or two others, you know.
Yeah?
Well, there's one guy in particular who might get your mind off Fred, if you'd give him a chance.
Yeah? Who?
Well, I know I'm not as good looking as Fred, and I ain't got his fancy manners. But I like you just as much as he did. Probably a lot more.
Sorry, Joe.
At least I wouldn't walk out on you for any other dame.
If you did, I wouldn't blame you.
No?
No. I'd blame the other woman. She had no right to take him away from me. He belonged to me.
Oh, Gloria, please forget it.
No, I won't. I can't. I've made up my mind.
Huh? What are you thinking?
Where's your car?
Outside.
Where's your gun?
In my pocket.
Some people are giving a party at their country place tonight for Fred and his wife.
But, Gloria...
But Fred was called out of town on business. They're giving the party anyway. And she'll be there. Brenda will be there.
So what?
We'll wait for her. And follow her when she leaves.
Wait a minute. Nothing doing. I ain't bumping off no woman.
Sit down and shut up.
You're crazy. You're gone absolutely nutty. I'm getting out of here.
You're driving me to that house.
I won't.
No? I wonder if the police would be interested in knowing who killed Lefty Hammond.
Gloria, you wouldn't.
Wouldn't I?
Well... Okay. You win.
Better. Go get in your car. I'll go out the back way and meet you in the alley.
Gloria and Joe sit in the car in the deep shadows of a spreading tree. The hours drag on, and then about 1:30 in the morning, the party breaks up and the cars begin to leave. Finally, Brenda comes through the gate, driving her own coupe.
There she is. That's Brenda. Get going, Joe.
Is she alone?
Yes, she's alone.
I sure wish you'd change your mind.
Don't get too close to her.
No, I ain't got nothing against her or Fred either. What good's this going to do you?
You wouldn't understand.
I think you've gone off your beam. Maybe you're cracked.
Shut up. I'm not crazy, if that's what you mean.
That's what I mean.
Drop back a little.
They say crazy people never think they're batty. You might feel different about this in the morning, Gloria. Maybe you ought to see a doctor. Oh! Cut it out. What do you get off slapping people?
Move along. You're losing her.
Well, lay off that rough stuff. Or I might decide to change my mind about the whole thing.
Nah, you won't change your mind.
It'd be funny if something happened to you.
If anything happens to me, there's a letter in my safe that tells all about you. So you better see that I get back to the AAA.
Okay. I was only kidding.
Yeah. We're coming along to that long stretch now. No cars behind us and none coming. Step on it now. Run her off the road. Now, run her off in that ditch.
Say, what's the idea? Are you trying to wreck me?
Get out of that car.
What is this, a hold-up?
Get out and shut up.
I haven't anything but a couple of rings.
Take her rings, Joe.
Well, this is a new one. A woman bandit.
Any money in your purse?
A few dollars.
Take the money and scatter the rest of the things around.
Yeah.
Now, ruffle up her hair, Joe. Muss her up.
You take your hands off me.
Oh, have a heart, Gloria.
Okay. I muss her up, but good.
What are you? What's the meaning of this? You got what you want. Why don't you let me alone?
I'll let you alone, Mrs. Adams.
Who are you?
Start walking.
What?
Start walking off through those trees.
I won't. Stop.
Get moving.
What are you going to do?
See to it that you don't do any more chiseling in, Mrs. Fred Adams.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Walk. Let her have it, Joe. Now, what are you stolen for? You missed her. Give me that gun. Well, and that's the last of Mrs. Adams.
She's dead.
Yeah. There's your gun. Now, let's get out of here.
Oh.
Well, what's the matter? What are you waiting for?
I'm kind of dizzy. Kind of sick. I can't drive, Gloria. You better drive.
And I thought you were experienced at this business.
If I hadn't seen you do it, Gloria, nobody in the world could have made me believe it. Nobody.
Anything about it in this morning's paper, Joe?
No, not a thing about it. And it was the night before last, too. I can't understand it.
Are you sure she was dead?
Of course I'm sure. Well, what do you suppose could have happened? She couldn't have walked away. Say, maybe they haven't found her or the car yet, huh?
It's impossible. At the main highway, hundreds of cars passed there in the course of a few hours.
Well, maybe they've seen the car but just thought it was a wreck. Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Hey, better lay off that stuff, Joe. You've been drinking for 2 days now.
Yeah, but I need it. I'm jittery. I got the willies like I never had before. Say, maybe I ought to drive by that place and see if the car's gone.
Okay. Get back as soon as possible.
Yeah, sure. I can't get it off my mind. I don't mind telling you, I'm scared.
Go on. And quit talking so much.
Gloria, I went out there.
Yeah, well, I know. What did you see?
Nothing. The car was gone. I looked all around for the spot. There wasn't a sign of anything. No trinkets, no blood marks, no nothing.
Well, then they must have found her.
But why don't they say something in the papers about it? If they just said something, I could stand it. It's driving me nuts.
Are you going to lay off that stuff?
No, I ain't. I need it.
I don't need it.
Yeah? I don't know what you're made of, but whatever it is, it's sure tough. I never knew a woman could be as tough. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
You're a jellyfish.
I can understand one guy rubbing out another one for doing something against the gang, but I never thought I'd see a woman do a thing like that. And for no good reason.
There was a reason. And shut up.
I couldn't have done a thing like that. You could have turned me in first. There she was, laying there, covered with...
Shut up.
It's funny, this stuff don't seem to have any effect on me. It's just like some water.
Get hold of yourself.
Poor kid. I never felt so miserable in all my life.
Did you get the late papers?
Yeah. Here you are. Well, anything in it?
No. Not a word.
Hey, maybe we didn't do it, Gloria. Maybe it was just a nightmare.
No, we did it all right, and proper.
If I don't hear something soon, I'll go crazy.
Hey, wait a minute.
Huh? What is it? Did they find her?
No. Well, what do you know about that?
Well, what is it?
Look at this picture.
Holy smoke. It's her. Her and Fred.
Mr. and Mrs. Fred Adams attend the races.
When?
Yesterday. It isn't possible.
But it's her. I know it's her, Gloria. How could she? She's dead. Hey.
What's the matter?
Maybe it's her.
Her ghost? Don't be silly.
I'm getting out of here. I'm leaving town.
Look. You're in the other paper.
Huh?
Day before yesterday. Fred Adams and wife attend tennis match.
And another picture.
What could this mean? What did they say something about it?
You see, Gloria, it's getting you down, too. Oh, please, Gloria, let's pull out.
It's uncanny. I can't believe it.
If it's in the papers, you gotta believe it.
Did you double-cross me, Joe?
What do you mean?
Did you have blanks in that gun?
Blanks? I'd certainly hate to get hit with what I have in that gun. She's dead, I tell you.
Well, she'd better be.
What'll we do?
You'll wait. That's all, just wait.
Okay. But I don't think I can stand it, Gloria. I'm going to pieces.
But they did wait. They waited for 2 more days, and Joe, fortified with his bottle, was able to hang on. Then Gloria began to crack under the strain of waiting.
Joe, I can't stand it any longer. I gotta do it.
Do what?
I'm going to call Fred's apartment to see if she's there.
I wouldn't.
Hello? Is this the Adams apartment? Is Mrs. Adams there? An old friend from out of town. Yeah, thank you. She's there.
Holy gee.
She answered. I heard her. You lied to me, Joe.
I didn't lie. I had bullets in that gun. I saw her and she was dead.
There's something wrong. Terribly wrong.
I'm going to wait a few more days. I'll check again. And when I'm sure, I'm going to take care of you, Joe.
What do you mean?
I'm going to kill you.
That's crazy.
I don't think it would be safe to have you walking around and talking.
Gloria, listen.
Come on, we're going to my apartment and wait. The story's bound to break sooner or later.
I'd rather get out of town.
You're coming with me to my apartment. Get moving.
Then 3 more days of sleepless waiting. The tenseness grows and grows. The suspense is almost stifling. Poor Joe can neither sleep nor eat, and Gloria becomes pale and drawn. Then Joe finally emerges and goes on a little scouting tour about town to see what he can learn. Then on the next night, a knock at Gloria's apartment door.
Who is it?
It's me, Fred.
Fred? Wait a minute.
Hello, Gloria.
What do you want, Fred?
May I come in? I'd like to talk to you.
Yeah, of course. Come in.
It's rather late, but, well, I had to talk to you.
What about? I never expected to see you around here again.
Well, I was lonely. I had to talk to someone.
Lonely? Well, sit down, Fred.
Thanks. You look kind of tired, Gloria. What's wrong?
Well, since you mentioned it, you look a bit weary yourself. What's wrong with you?
Oh, nothing much. I sent you a check clearing up what I owed you. Did you get it?
Yeah. There's something wrong, Fred. What is it?
Oh, little trouble, that's all.
Sort of trouble.
Domestic?
Domestic? What do you mean? That isn't...
Isn't possible? Is that what you're going to say?
Yes, I thought you were quite happy with your wife.
Well, things can develop suddenly. I certainly found that out.
Well, what happened? Or do you want to tell me?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I do. Guess that's why I came here. You're always so darned understanding. You always knew the answers to things.
But what happened?
Well, I guess I really didn't belong in the upper crust. You had it figured out about right. Everything was all right until Brenda started to shape my career.
Shape your career?
Yes. She had everything all planned out for me. She and her father had it all figured out. I wanted to go into the DA's office and move up on my own initiative. They didn't want it that way. They wanted me to start out as a big shot.
Did she leave you?
Well, yes. We just agreed to disagree.
Oh. Well, where's she now?
Her father's place, I suppose.
When did she leave?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Are you sure it was yesterday?
Of course. Why do you ask that?
Well, no reason, I suppose. I just can't believe it. Seems a shame. Well, I'm very sorry for you, Fred. Believe me. I know how you feel. I was let down with a dull thud once.
Were you?
You should know.
Oh, Gloria, I was such a fool. You were right. I should have listened to you. You could see what was coming, and I was too dumb to realize it. Have you forgiven me?
Yeah, Fred. I'd have to forgive you. I love you so much. I've never been able to forget you for one single moment.
I'm sorry, Gloria. Terribly sorry.
Fred, I got a strange feeling. I don't know what it is, but I've got a feeling you're not telling me the truth.
What? You mean you don't believe me?
There is something you haven't told me. What is it?
Why, nothing. I've told you everything.
I don't believe you, Fred.
All right. Gloria, I'm in a tough spot. Brenda hasn't gone away. She's dead.
Dead? What on earth do you mean?
Yeah, she was found dead beside a car a number of days ago. The day after we had a nasty argument, but I didn't do it. There have been many threats against the district attorney and members of his family. It may have been any one of a number of persons.
Nothing's been said about it in the paper.
I know that. I know it. They purposely kept it quiet, hoping the real killer would show his hand.
That's silly. Why should he?
I don't know. Oh, darling, it's all a mess. I'm completely worn out over it. I know they suspect me. I don't know what to do about it.
Gloria! I seen her.
Who?
She was standing under the lamppost at the corner. She spoke to me. She said, "Hello, Joe." How's Gloria?
Shut up, you're drunk.
No, it was her. It was Brenda. I ran for the elevator, and as the doors closed, she was coming into the lobby. She was terrible. Oh, pale and awful looking.
You're simple and you got the snakes.
No, it was her. And she's coming up here. It's her. I don't want to see her. I can't look at her. I can't stand it.
Joe, turn on the lights.
I won't.
Turn on those lights.
Never mind the lights. I can see you. All three of you.
Brenda. What do you want?
So you're Gloria. Yes. Yes, I met you for the first time not many nights ago. On a deserted highway.
Joe, it is her.
Come out of the corner, Joe. I can see you. Joe, the man who pulled the trigger.
I didn't.
What do you want?
So, Fred, you were in on the plan, too. You wanted me out of the way because of Gloria. You were back of the whole thing.
No, Brenda, no. I had nothing to do with it.
You decided you'd made a mistake, that you wanted Gloria.
I didn't. I swear I didn't.
Tell him, Joe. Tell him how you shot me down. You had the gun. Tell him or I'll...
No. Get away from me. Don't touch me. I'll tell. I didn't do it. She did it. Gloria did it. I couldn't. I didn't have the nerve.
He's lying. I didn't do it.
Go ahead, Joe. Spill it.
I ain't going to take the rap for this. Gloria went off her beam when you married Brenda. She went crazy with jealousy. She knew about that party, and she made me drive her out there. We followed Brenda and then ran her off the road. She tried to make me do it, but I couldn't. I fired wild, and Gloria grabbed the gun from me and let her have it.
He's lying.
How could she make you do it?
She threatened me. She's got something.
Shut up!
I don't care. She can tell what she knows about me, but I can prove that she killed Brenda.
How can you prove it, Joe?
I wore gloves. I still have the gun, and the only fingerprints on it are Gloria's.
You did it!
I figured she might try to double-cross me.
What about it, Gloria?
All right, I did it. I shot her. I couldn't stand it any longer.
Turn on the lights, Joe.
She ain't dead. It's her. Brenda ain't dead.
Good Lord.
Oh, yes, Brenda's dead, all right. Quite dead.
What is she?
You'll find out, Gloria. What a strange quirk of fate. It was your money that caused all this. It was you who put me through law school so that I could defend you. But now, I'm sorry to say I'll be forced to be your prosecutor. Sorry, Gloria. Terribly sorry.
Well, Gloria, you've come to the end of your rope. Things didn't work out as you'd planned. You really killed Brenda that night. But Fred got a brilliant idea. He had Nella, Brenda's twin sister, come up from Nassau and pose as his wife. That's how all the pictures appeared in the papers. And it was Nella who just walked in on you and got a confession. And how did Fred know you were the one? Well, there were several suspects. But you, Gloria, made the mistake of phoning for Brenda too many times. And the police traced your calls. Too bad, Gloria. Jealousy is a terrible thing.
CBS has presented The Whistler. Original music for this production is composed and conducted by Wilbur Hatch. The Whistler is written and directed by J. Donald Wilson and originates from Columbia Square in Hollywood. Next week, Sunday at 9:15...
I, the Whistler, will return to tell you the strange story out of the fog. Good night.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thank you for listening to HOJO Radio. We'll be back again very soon.